there, everybody, and welcome back to Roll with Advantage. Very excited to dive into today's session. Before we dive in with the summary, a couple of things right up at the top. For one, thank you to our wonderful sponsor of tonight's session, PartyLootApp.com. Go ahead and check that out for all your party tracking needs. It's blurred there because it's sensitive information. Okay, no, yeah, except there's a second P on that because that's a little partyloot.app.
Wait, no.
The easy party loot tracking, yes, for all your party tracking needs. Thank you, Schnuff, for the tier 1 sub, and be sure to check out the RWA website. Brand new, super cool. Make sure you take your character quiz. Look at that, it's on the screen over there. I made that. Ha ha ha. Check out the RWA website, rollwithadvantage.co. So we're a company here. We're not just when you're here, you're family. All right.
Whoa. You can't just take other people's slogans.
So be sure to do that. Go take a character quiz. Post that in our Discord server, which you can also join right now if you're so inclined. And of course, as always, be sure to join the trivia doohickey. There are instructions that are going to pop up every once in a while on the what I guess is my right hand side. I had to do the thing. My right hand side with instructions on how to do that, but just hover over the side, click Lore Master Trivia, click accept, and then you'll be able to participate in some fun little trivia over general D&D knowledge and also Roll with Advantage specific knowledge. Every once in a while I might enable one of the 20 questions I have for different categories like science, theater, video games, movies, history, or general. Not today, though. Not today. So let's go ahead and start the trivia and dive into the session. As is tradition here on Roll with Advantage, it is not the DM that does the summary. It's not me. It is Ryan. Ryan, take it away.
Hello. All right, let's jump right in. Session 8, The Sea Calls. The heirs gather together in order to depart, requisitioning a Falcrest ship to make a statement for their arrival of the tournament. They are once again rejoined by Captain Vela and Karth from their previous mission. After setting out to sea, Via quickly gathers the siblings together in order to discuss some of their lingering issues and resentments. Xanthi is quick to take over the meeting with Via's permission, offering an apology for her actions during the petitions with Sir Otis. She encourages no secrets to be kept between them and inquires of everyone else's secret meeting. Everyone obliges with the exception of Merrick, who doesn't believe that Xanthi is sincere in her apology, saying that she's only doing this to take away any advantage the others have over her. Despite encouragement from the others, Merrick refuses to share. The heirs part ways, though do meet up again to watch the sunset on deck. Before turning in, Merrick and Kaylin share in a conversation discussing Xanthi and the nature of this game Talon has set them on. They discuss politics, strategy, and the thin line of trust they want to share with the other. Merrick opens up to Kaylin that he saw his mother in the capital, and Kaylin warns him of what he might say around her. The next day, Merrick is training on the deck of the ship when something strange happens, compelling him to try and jump off the ship. Edwin is unable to stop him, but thankfully Karth is able to get a hold of him. Merrick has no memory of the incident, though Karth and Edwin both heard a terrifying sound upon saving Merrick. The princes order all sailors to tie lifelines to themselves and order all non-essential personnel below deck. At this time, Via comes up and has a vision of dark storm clouds approaching. The heirs all meet and discuss what happened, but the ship is soon set upon by sanguine hunters. The heirs prepare for battle, ready to defend the crew and the ship. As the battle commences, the heirs hold their own, but a great number of the enemy seem very drawn to Merrick. Despite several close calls, they are able to push the enemy back, but not before one last dying sanguine utters cryptic words to Merrick. The song, it calls deep, deep down. The chains must be shattered by the drowned. The blood calls to the blood. Merrick fires one last shot, executing the soldier. Before everyone leaves, Via peers into Merrick's aura and sees something. I don't know what it was. The next day, Edwin goes back in to check on Merrick, prying deeper into what's been bothering the prince lately. Merrick opens up, voicing his negative feelings with the revelation of Edwin's secret family. Merrick voices his sadness, saying he would have liked to have known them and feels robbed of the last 13 years. Edwin defends his actions while also criticizing Merrick's silence around the King's Hands fighting. Merrick responds that Edwin's actions are not helping the group, and the brothers part ways, further apart than they were before. Merrick goes to see Via, wanting to speak with her after his rough few days. He speaks to her and lets her know that despite the challenges, he will always be her older brother, and he will always watch out for her. Via encourages Merrick to try to be more open and closer to the rest of the family, though Merrick can't bring himself to make her any promises. He merely encourages her to be safe and that he'll always love her. The heirs arrive at Skyhaven, ready for their homecoming. The session ends with a flashback to a young Rainier Falcrest, or just Rainier at the time, seeing his earlier days of adventuring. However, the joyful tones of the day are soon stripped away as the horrors of the night descend, as we see the events of the Night of Crimson Tears, a famous historical event where nearly the entirety of House Falcrest was wiped out. The session ends with Rainier finding Talon's mother protecting a young Edamir. She cries out for Talon, wondering where her son is, as the scene fades to black.
Thank you very much, Ryan. Wonderful summary, as always. So with that, we are going to go ahead and move to the portside city of Seahaven. So, as all of you begin to get closer and closer and closer to Seahaven, a port city that all of you are familiar with. You've all walked the streets of this port city time and time again when you were younger, back when you used to come to Skyhaven a lot more frequently. Not always of your own choice, you know, going to the family vacation home, really, as it was, as your father was king of Adaria, and still is. But being that he was that, you all stayed in Crown's Rest for the most part. Or, you know, Merrick would be in Kraken's Reach, Via would be at Arkenvale, but Kaylin and Xanthi, you spent most of your time in Crown's Rest. Edwin's, of course, spending most of your time off in the lands of the Nornathi people. However, all of you are familiar with it. There are so many delightful memories from these streets, from the smell of meats and baked goods by various street vendors, or the peddling of wares from far off places all around Illica. Although Skyhaven isn't the most convenient place to go to, it's always been a place that has beckoned adventurers to it because of the spirit of House Falcrest. A line of nobles that was founded in the spirit of being an adventurer, of defending those who can't defend themselves. And those memories flood to you in this moment. But there is that lingering thought at the back of your head. Because it's no secret what happened here. Not that long ago, less than 100 years, your great aunts and great uncles, they died here in a monstrous slaughter. But you try and push that down because you have a mission to do here and you can't let the past impact them. So you approach Seahaven. You end up passing through that crescent-shaped harbor protected by these stone breakwaters that are topped with those watchtowers, each watchtower having a falcon on the very top of it, carved with stone, looking over that passageway, making sure that all people are under the gaze of House Falcrest when here. Now, as the ship sort of glides into Seahaven's harbor, you can also see the silhouette of Skyhaven rises majestically against the sky, half carved into the mountain itself, half built upon plateaus that jut from the face of it. After being at sea for days, and those of you that don't have your sea legs, being this close to land is very, very, very comforting. You can see the ship crew continues to work efficiently, even more so than what you saw in the beginning. I mean, they are working incredibly quickly. Not like they want to get off and head into harbor, but they're just a good crew. Better than most, it looks like. But you can see Captain Vela. She approaches all five of you as you begin to gather on the deck, watching the dock get closer. Your Highnesses, welcome back to Seahaven. And it appears there is a formal reception waiting for all of you. And as you sort of look into the spot where you'll be docking, you can see there is a small delegation of people that stand attention on the dock, bearing Falkrest banners that are fluttering in the breeze. And as the ship eventually comes into dock and the gangway gets laid down, you can see your court herald steps forward, as this is his job, to announce all of the heirs as you enter whatever place that you're going, or announce guests whenever they come into your halls. So you see the herald step forward, and he unfurls a scroll with this sort of exaggerated ceremony. Presenting His Royal Highness, Prince Edwin Falkrest, first son of King Talon Falkrest, divine emissary to the Nornothi realms and keeper of the sacred covenants. As Edwin, you never heard that last one before, but you know you're supposed to walk across the gangplank now and do something. What does Edwin do as he sees there's a big group of people, probably 150, 200 people that are sort of gathering around the dock? What does Edwin do as he steps across the gangway?
Well, first off, as the guy starts talking, Edwin immediately goes, "Me first," and then he continues to talk, and then there's a face of, and then he quickly realizes he's making a face, and then fixes his face, and then just smiles. Look, it's like the penguins of Madagascar. All right, he smiles and he waves. That's what he's gonna do. He's just. Hello.
You can see there's light clapping.
Hello.
Light clapping. You see he draws another breath, the court herald, as Edwin, you stand at the other end of the gangway on the dock, waiting for the rest of your siblings. Her Royal Highness, Princess Xanthi Falkrest, first noble-born daughter of King Talon the Kind, voice of the royal court, mistress of ceremonies, and guardian of the Darian Standard. Xanthi, as you begin to make your way across, you've never heard that last one either. Seems like he's taken some liberties to really give you guys long titles. How does Xanthi cross the gangway?
I mean, I think it's complete opposite to Edwin. Like, she has that full poise, doing that little, like, that fucking, like, queen wave, you know? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I imagine, like, as she approaches to where, like, Edwin is, especially when he's, like, just cheesing, she'll kind of just, like, place her head on his shoulder, like, firmly as a kind of get your shit together kind of thing. But yeah.
Okay. He draws another breath as he continues with his announcements. The Royal Highness, Princess Kaelin Falkrest, daughter of King Talon the Kind, royal apothecary of the crown, and keeper of the ancient ways. Kaelin, that feels a little inappropriate considering your culture and you are not a keeper of anything.
Keeper of ancient ways, huh?
Yes.
We overpaid for this guy.
So how does Kaelin cross?
I think she blinks for a second and then immediately also fixes her face. But she'll walk to, like, the center of the gangplank and, like, her gauntleted hand she'll put over her heart and just kind of, like, do a, like, nice little bow to the people. Mm-hmm. And go stand next to Xanthi.
Polite claps. And you see he then continues down his parchment. And His Royal Highness, Prince Merrick Veltaris Falkrest, son of King Talon the Kind and Lady Sian Veltaris, master of royal falcons and champion of royal tournaments. Merrick, you pass. What do you do?
Oh, he is just smiling big, and his waves are very just like, not over the top, but I mean, it is very much like he wants everyone to see him. Like, the royals that are watching, the common people that have heard about him, you know, like, he loves the fact that the people know him. So, I mean, he is trying to just like look around and wave to everyone, just so you know. Maybe there's that one kid who's like, "Oh my gosh, he looked at me," you know?
Yeah, of course. You do
But
see a
yeah,
couple
he'll look
of,
like he's having a great time.
yeah, you see a couple of younger kids. They definitely do get a kick out of it, seeing how happy
He'll
you are
point at
to
a
be
few
here.
of them, you know, as he walks by.
Finger guns.
Yeah, not quite, but you know,
yeah, no,
the royal equivalent of finger guns. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he'll walk over and cross his arms next to Kalen. But
Yeah.
yeah, he's happy. He's smiling.
All right. And then finally he reaches the end of his parchment. And her royal highness, and her royal highness, Princess Octavia Falkrest, youngest daughter of King Talon the Kind and Queen Circe Alicides, apprentice to the royal archmage and stargazer of the realm. And the herald rolls up his scroll with a flourish and he bows deeply, allowing you to cross Octavia. How does Octavia cross?
She, I feel like, of all the siblings, is very, like, used to, like, the pomp and circumstance, and she's not trying to impress anybody or anything, she's very comfortable. Like, for her, she's like, yeah, we just walk and people talk at us, you know? So she walks normally, kind of bounding over. She does raise an eyebrow at the stargazer of the realm. She's like, I don't know about that one. But then when she gets next to Merrick, she'll do a little curtsy to the people, very much in her element, just kind of like, yeah, I'm used to people yapping at me, so.
Yeah, of course. So there the five of you stand together, and you see at the bottom of the dock closest to the actual city itself, you see two figures step forward from the small reception party. The first one is one that all of you are very familiar with. A dignified half-elven woman in her early 70s. She stands with this perfect posture. You can see her auburn hair almost entirely silver at this point, and her hair like elegantly twisted and secured with ornate falcon pins. Her green eyes sparkle with warmth as she spots all of you. And there is this broad smile on her face that goes from, right, this sort of like decorum of royalty to just radiant joy. As this is a woman that all of you, like I said, are deeply, deeply, deeply familiar with. Royal. This is Lady Marianne Blackthorn, who has been the steward of Skyhaven for longer than any of you have been alive. She has been a woman that whenever you were here, she was like a grandmother to you. Always giving you everything that you could ever, ask for or need if it was within her power. Always trying to make sure that she was there for you, knowing that all of you didn't really have a loving grandmother here within Adaria. One way, shape, or form, they were very powerful individuals who couldn't spare the time needed for a young person. And so Lady Marianne was always that person for all of you. And you can see the genuine just like love and care that she has on her face. And I'll go ahead and throw this in the image. Here.
Oh, she seems so sweet.
I love Grandma.
Yeah.
Grandma Marianne. She's cute.
Little
Little pin in
ears.
her hair is nice.
Yeah. And you can see that she does wear the chain of the steward, of course, that has the emblems of House Falkrest. And she carries this as a very sacred duty to her. She's also very good at her job, where all of you know that Skyhaven will be okay under her watch if Rainier's not here and currently can't attend to his duties. The city won't fall apart under her watch, that's for sure. But then the person beside her, none of you know, you've only heard of, except Kalen, you know the man who stands beside her. Towering next to her, rugged, wild man, unkempt hair and beard, his weathered skin marbled with tattoos and tribal symbols. His clothing is a stark contrast to the refined Sea Haven styles, and it clearly marks him as a visitor of the Serpent's Grove. As all of you see, an individual by the name of Bjorn. And I should be able to. Oh no! Post this here. I don't want to share the,
Oh, shit. That's
the
crazy.
full document yet.
Yum.
So I'm gonna put this one. Unable to load image. No, I was gonna upload it to the chat. Well, that's okay. I'll share this in the Crimson Court general chat real quick, just that way it's there. For some reason, it's not letting me upload images to the chat here, but that's him. Oh.
Womp.
Glad we
Let's
saw
go,
that right.
Grandma.
Fantastic. So that is the man that stands beside her, Bjorn.
Jeez.
You can see that
So
he.
I was right. He is hot.
You can see
Harold
that he
of Rivia
stands
just arrived.
very calmly, but a little uncomfortable. You're not exactly sure why, but it's not super hard to tell considering the way that he presents himself. But Lady Marianne says, "Oh, my lords and ladies," she calls out towards all of you, unable to maintain that formal decorum. She opens her arm wide as if wanting to embrace all 5 of you at once and says, "Oh, look at all of you together again at Skyhaven after all these years. It's been more than a decade, I think." She walks over to you, Edwin. "Oh, Edwin, still as handsome as ever. You look more like your father every time I see you." And she sort of pats your cheek affectionately. "Xanthi, my fierce girl. Always carrying yourself so tall and proud, as you should." Kaylin, you can see she takes both of your hands. That brilliant mind still shining through those eyes, I see. She'll step next to you, Merrick. "Oh, young man, I hear you've been making quite the name for yourself in the tournament circuits. You know, your uncle boasted about it last time he was here." And then...
Merrick just smiles with pride at that.
Yeah. She'll move then to Via. "Ah, and my little Octavia. Well, I guess not so little anymore." Oh,
Yeah,
you have-
big girl now. I missed you, Marianne.
I missed you too, my sweet. Oh, and she'll hug
Giving
you.
her a
Via.
hug.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so very sorry. Forgive this old woman's excitement. It is my great honor as steward of Skyhaven, Lady Marianne Blackthorn, to welcome all of you back home. Skyhaven is the ancestral home of House Folkrest, and it is my great honor to provide you anything and everything you could need while you're here. I understand there are many preparations that need to be made, and anything that all of you need to accomplish, I will ensure everything in my power that it gets done in a timely manner. I'd like to inform all of you that Lady Alaris Eldrin, Treasurer, has also arrived earlier this morning, and she has already been set up in Skyhaven. Whenever all of you are ready to discuss the duties around the Sentinel, you can see some genuine concern over her face in that moment, but she sort of pushes them down and away. To discuss about the festivities, your earliest convenience, of course. But anything aside from that, I would love to help you with. There is a few things, though, you should know. There are some repairs that do need to be done to Skyhaven itself. And if the Crown would be willing to expense those repairs, it would be most appreciative. With the heroic actions taken by your uncle, it has shaken some faith within trade at Skyhaven. If the Crown can assist there, it would be most appreciative. But that is something we can discuss later. I do need to introduce another individual. This here, and she gestures towards the Wild Blood man, who's now about 10 feet behind her. This is Master Bjorn Wildblood. He arrived at the Eagle's Gate about a week ago, and he brings a message for Lady Kaylin, and has been quite insistent on delivering it personally. And you can see he sort of like gives like a stiff, formal bow, which Kaylin is very strange for you to see him do.
Yeah.
It seems very practiced, as if he is trying to make a good impression. And he speaks, his voice is very deep, gravelly. And Bjorn's common tongue is kind of broken, where he doesn't exactly speak properly.
I thank you, Lady Marion. You make stay comfortable.
And you can see he walks forward and he turns his attention to Kaylin, his expression softening quite a bit.
Little Cope. I would.
Didn't know you were going to be here. And Kaylin's going to go and give him a hug, like
Yes.
formalities aside.
Yeah, and he will hug also. And as you pull back, he'll sort of hold your shoulders, and he looks at you very proudly, you know, because the last time he saw you was when he dropped you off at Crown's Rest when you were 11.
I would speak with you, Kaylin, after you settle. If you allow, I wait at Serpent Shrine in Sea Haven.
Yes, of course. Bjorn, really, just looking around at everyone else. Yes, we have a lot to talk about. I'm just so surprised to see you here. It is a good surprise.
It was something did not expect so soon. But we talk later.
Of course. Just gotta give him another hug.
And he will hug back as well. Well, very wonderful. A lot of heartfelt reunions. Oh, please, if there's nothing that you will have to address within Sea Haven, I'd be happy to escort you up to Sky Haven myself.
I don't believe we have any business here.
Very good. I know Sky Haven will be happy to have you back. It feels like the whole mountain seems to be breathing easier knowing you've returned, even if it's just for a little while. Oh, come on. I'm sure you all remember the path, but just in case you've forgotten it, those of you that have not been here in quite some time, no offense taken. If you didn't want to see me, you could have just told me. She starts to walk away.
By the way, sorry, before we continue,
Yeah.
and maybe I'm misremembering, didn't Edwin want to go to the Rookery when we first got here, or was that later?
I think
There-
I think we're sending the message out when we start sending messages for the oh my god, festival. We start actually inviting
Okay.
people. We're just sending an invite message with a secret message.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
never mind then.
Okay, sounds good. And you guys do have access to the private rookery that exists within the keep of Skyhaven. There is one that is specifically used for the Sentinel and House Falkrest.
Easy.
Sweet.
Okay.
Of course.
I knew that. So with that, all of you begin to head up the cliffside, heading up the many, many, many stairs that lead up to the Eagle's Gate, which is the sort of start of that impenetrable fortress. That
many
is
stairs?
Skyhold.
You don't have to say an
12?
actual number.
12?
It's just I'm just gonna say halfway through, Edwin stops, and like, oh, so many stairs. He's 45.
Yeah, I'd say at least like
Isn't he
2,000 steps. I mean, it's pretty high up there. Yeah, you can see as you do that, Lady Marion is just like she like has her like skirt like kind of pulled up as she's like walking, and she's like, out of breath already, Edwin.
No. I'm just taking in the scenery. Let's go.
I'm
I can
sure.
levitate you, but you'll only go straight up.
It's fine.
Don't know if I'd recommend that. Coming down might be kind of hard.
Those next steps. Crack.
Okay. All right. Sounds good.
By the way, he's wearing like half plate. I'm pretty sure. I have so.
He's got some extra weight for sure.
Females Anthony wearing the same is fine.
Okay, fucking chill out. He's like 15 years older than you or some shit.
Mm-hmm. Alrighty. So, with that, all of you make your way up to Skyhaven.
We're home.
Yes, this is home. You can hear the small, windy mountain rivers that course down the side that feed off into the Dragon Strait, as well as the wind blowing up on this high cliffside. There we go, dude. It is a beautiful landscape from up here. Breathtaking. The mountains off in the distance, snow-capped in the Nornathi lands, as well as the very small sort of range of mountains that exist here, that Skyhaven is built on top of. Like I said, feeling the wind, you can see the waves lapping up against the side of the rough rock face as all of you head inside to Skyhaven. You into Skyhaven interior.
Was she pretty?
It is a beautiful interior that you walk into. As all of you know exactly where you are right now. This is the grand feasting hall. You see the tall vaulted ceilings, massive stone arches that are carved resembling falcon wings in flight. There are these ancient tapestries that hang from the wall that depict House Falkrest's greatest triumphs. And the entrance you walk through is the Eagle's Archway, the same one Rainier walked through all those years ago. And in the very center of the room, you can see the Sentinel's hearth. This massive fireplace large enough for 3 men to stand upright within. Huge. It is massive. It seems to be carved from this like black volcanic stone brought from distant mountains. And the hearth is adorned with the names of not only fallen heroes from previous Falkrest adventures, but of all of those individuals who died on the night of Crimson Tears. The very last one that you can see carved in, there are 3 names. There is Elendara Falkrest. There is Edamir Falkrest, as well as Landor Falkrest, the great-grandfather to all of you, the previous Lord Paramount, during the Night of Crimson Tears. You can also see the names of all of Edamir's children carved in as well, having died during the Plague of Hollow Veins. It is a very cozy home. It really is, but it's so hard to embrace that when there's so much dark history. But you push it down, push it away. You're here for a good thing. You are here to do a good thing. So you try not to think about it. Though, as you maybe place your hand on the volcanic stone and feel some of those names, you get this flash in your head, and it hurts immediately, like a migraine. It's only there for an instant, and you see yourself walking down this long, unfamiliar corridor carved from unnatural stone. And as you take your hand off, fades away. And when you put your hand back on, it doesn't come back. But it's very strange. So, as all of you move into the, throughout the grand hearth, or the grand dining hall or feasting hall of Skyhaven, you can see Lady Marianne turns to you and says, well, you think it's best we get to business, just to talk about what's been happening here in Skyhaven since all of you have last been here and things that need to be done. And you can see that it looks like she's maybe holding something back. You're not exactly sure, but, passive insight higher than 10, you can tell that she's withholding something, or she's not asking something. She's just going to go into talking about the repairs that need to be done, unless all of you if any of you say anything.
Well, we can get to business, but we could also, take a moment to catch up.
Octavia, I understand all of you are very busy and you have important things to do, and I don't want to get in the way of any of that. I think it's important you get your task done.
Our task will be done. We can spend time to catch up. We haven't talked in a while. Is
We
everything
will
okay?
also be returning for the festival, don't forget. I'm sure there'll be more time for things then.
Oh,
Don't forget we also need to work on another matter before we can start the festival even. We do have a lot to get done.
I understand. I know all of you have things you have to do. I'm not upset about that. I just wanted to know, since I'm assuming all of you had seen him, your uncle, is he doing all right?
He's resting. And right now, that is all we can hope for, is that he will make a strong recovery when he is ready. But there's no guaranteed timeline on what that is right now.
But you all think he'll pull through?
Of course. He always does, so he just needs a moment to rest.
That you're very right about. Well, gods be good then. I worry for him. He's getting up there in age, and, well, that's probably best that someone will be taking his mantle as sentinel. Hopefully this way he can actually relax and be home longer than a week or two at a time. It's difficult work managing Skyhaven by my lonesome. He definitely makes it easier when he's here. Believe it or not, the Lord Paramount actually does a fair bit of work.
Really?
Mm-hmm. He does. He does. Well, good. I can sleep a little easier knowing that. We'll have plenty of time to catch up during the festival itself. So I think it'd be best if I do just give you your tasks, and I understand that I'll speak more with you later, and I promise I won't be offended. In terms of what needs to be done within Skyhaven, the Eastern Tower, which is where many of the guest rooms are, was damaged during a storm several months ago. The masonry work can be done. The masons are here, but it'll cost about 2,000 gold. And then in the Great Hall, and you can see she points up, and you can see the stained glass. There are a lot of cracks in the stained glass, and even some panes that are missing. We'll need some glass workers to make repairs there, and because of the color of the glass, it's, well, more expensive. It'd be about 1,500 gold. And then the final thing is very optional, but the training grounds of Skyhaven are not quite up to date as they should be. They are in desperate need of some renovation. which will probably be about 1,500 gold for the necessary changes. So about 5,000 gold total for everything that needs to be done. That needs to be done by professionals, not by servants or maids.
How long has it been like this?
Well, I'd say since the last time your uncle was here. So about the windows have been cracked for about 6 months, and the eastern tower has been damaged for a month or two now.
Well, definitely take it into consideration of the budget.
Of course. I understand. You should speak with Lady Alaris to determine what all other expenses you'll have to worry about first.
Of course.
The final thing is, though, while I could have the servants tend to it, there are several chambers right by the skyward window, all the children's rooms. There are several personal belongings within those rooms that I think all of you should go through to determine what you'd like to do with them. They can be thrown away if you'd like, but I think it might be nice to keep some of them. Childhood memories and all. Can't remake those. So make sure to take a personal hand there and make sure that everything in those rooms, if you're keeping, you take with you, all right?
Will do.
Very good. Well, Lady Alaris is within the private dining hall right now. All of you know where that is. If you need anything else, I'll be around the keep. Just holler for a servant and they'll come find me. All right?
It's good to see you.
You have no idea how happy it makes me to see all of you. And she'll go through and she'll give each one of you a hug. Even for those of you that are not necessarily huggers, she is. And you can see that maybe she's a little too casual in her interaction with all of you. But she does have such genuine love for all of you. With that, she'll depart from the hall and head off to her duties as steward elsewhere. So, heading to speak with Lady Alaris, or heading elsewhere first?
I mean, if
she's
Lady Alaris is
waiting.
waiting for us, yeah.
Yeah, we shouldn't be like, all right, well, just continue to wait, bitch. Let's go. Let's go do our duties.
I just, as they're like walking to like the chamber where she's waiting, Xanthi is definitely gonna just like have just like a little remark of just remember we should make decisions in unity. No sense in going back and forth so much.
Noted.
Agreed.
Good to hear.
So glad to be back home.
All right. So all of you make your way into the private dining hall of Skyhaven, and there you see Lady Alaris Eldrin, Chancellor of the Treasury. She sees all of you enter, and smiles, and says, I had heard all of you had arrived. Fantastic. Thank you for coming so expeditiously to meet. I understand there maybe was some sightseeing or things you wish to attend to in the keep. It means a great deal to me that you wouldn't keep me waiting. Thank you.
We have a lot to talk about and a lot of work to do, seems around
Yes.
here, so better
Yes,
to
we
get
do.
started than wait.
Absolutely agree. Please take a seat. I've drafted up some budgets and pricing guidelines for what I think might be best. Of course, feel free to spend however much you wish, as long as it exists within your budget. If you think there's something that's absolutely necessary, the Treasury might be able to find the additional coin, but anything we can do to stay under the 50,000 gold you'd been given for this tourney would be best. So please take a seat. Please, could you get us some more wine and maybe some bread and cheese, please? As the servant says.
I did have a
Of course.
question, Lady Alaris. The
Yes,
50,000 gold that we were given was specific to our mission here with the tournament, finding a new sentinel. There's quite a bit of repairs here in Skyhaven. Is there some way that the Treasury could help with that?
Make a persuasion check, Edwin.
Caelan's gonna tap him on the hand and say, I think it's our duty to make sure that it gets done. And I'm gonna guidance him.
Right in front of her.
Casting magic here?
Yeah,
Gonna
bitch,
cast
what the
magic right in front of her.
fuck? Yeah.
Oh my god.
Make a sleight of hand check, Kaelin.
Oh, I'm gonna tap Kaelin and say thank you and guidance.
That's not.
Make a sleight of hand check, Edwin.
No, he's not doing that. Wait, what's his sleight of hand? Nope, never mind. He's not doing that.
That was almost a natural one.
Dude.
But it was a 16. You can see that she was currently in the middle of, talking to a servant. They were walking out as Edwin was kind of talking at her, and she turns. You just miss her looking at Edwin as you guidance him, Kaelin.
Oh, thank you. Starts eating almonds. 15.
15.
What I will say is that it is the responsibility of each Lord Paramount to make sure that their hold is presentable, but considering the circumstances we find ourselves in, I could find an amicable solution in covering half of the expenses that need to be done to maintain or update Skyhaven. What are you thinking?
I appreciate that. Well, I was told that it'd be about 5,000 gold total.
Very good.
And seeing
2,500 it is.
Oh, good. Thank you.
I was thinking it was going to be
Should've
much
said
more
10,000.
exorbitant.
Wait, how much did she?
2,500.
Yeah, it was 5,000.
Yeah.
For everything, right? Okay.
Yeah, she's gonna give 2,500 from the treasury.
No, I got mixed up.
And we only have to give 2,500.
Yeah, correct.
Thank you.
You keeping track of that math over there, buddy? We're about to
Well,
get
we haven't spent it yet. All right.
If you'd like
We'll
to hand
stay
over the
with the party
2,500 now, I'll make sure that those expenses are
Oh,
covered.
here you go.
Thank you. 1, 2,
Oh.
3.
3, 4.
Very good. She
Is that
pulls
coming out of the
the.
party fund or the 50K party fund, right?
I mean, I was gonna argue we should just take it out of the party fund.
We
It
have
is your guys' house.
5,999 gold.
Man, you could have covered it.
Fixing up Skyhaven. All right. Subtract.
Cheapos.
Partyloot.app.com.
Hey, listen.
I
How
didn't have to fix it up at all.
This is our home. Of course we're gonna fix it up.
I just said we didn't have to. He called us
okay.
cheapos.
All right.
Just use the Foundry module to do that.
Whoa! Be sure to check out Party Loot, tonight's
Whoa.
sponsor.
www.partyloot.app.com.
PartyLootApp.com. Okay. So as all of you sit down, Edwin, you count out the platinum, hand it to her. She says that she'll get it taken care of and make sure that the funds are delivered to Marianne to cover those expenses. She then begins to go through the the cost. So what I have here are a collection of different reports that I've put together for all of you to look at. I believe that this boils down into 3 different cost areas. We have our outreach, we have the festival, and then we have the ceremony for the individual who will become the new Sentinel. There are different scales at which we can perform each one of those 3 areas at. We can go from modest to standard to more elaborate and eventually to a royal effort for something. The same effort that we would do for, say, the budget you worked within for King Talon's birthday, Xanthi, something like that, which for each one of these would land us in the range of 20 to 30,000 gold for the most elaborate. For the most modest, we'd be looking anywhere between 200 gold to 3,000. So she explains that. So the festival and the ceremony
will not affect anything mechanically. Aside from, it'll only be like how people perceive the event and how people will then interpret the event in the future and how much validity they give to the Sentinel, depending on how elaborate the festival and ceremony is. The outreach is the only thing that has a mechanical benefit to it. So if you go with the bare minimum of doing the modest, right, which is about 1,000 gold, you will get 2 people that show up or that are of the skill level to be Sentinel. So we're talking level 12 or level 11 to like level 15 adventurer. If you go with standard, which is 5,000, you will get 3. If you go with elaborate, which is 15,000, you will get 5. And if you go with royal, which is 20,000, you will get 7. Royal outreach, you are literally sending messages beyond the material plane to other planes of existence, looking for individuals that could be powerful enough to assist. Now, like I said,
Dude, we
everybody,
want that
That's
one.
pretty neat.
That's
Yeah,
the
that's
one
pretty
we
neat.
want.
everyone is going to be around the same level. Like, it's not like if you do more outreach, they're going to necessarily be more powerful, but they will be more experienced in extraplanar threats, for the most part. But who knows?
Dude, we could have like an archfey. Not that powerful.
We'll
but
see.
a fey.
The Radiant Dread shows up.
Hey, that guy.
Hey, guy, what's up?
This guy.
So that's what we're
What's
starting
Pisto?
with. That's the. Can you explain the other 2?
Yeah, I'll do the other
tiers
2
for the
also.
Other things then.
Yeah. So, let me, and then I'll also make this a little, well, I guess, yeah, I'll copy and paste this into its own page and Legend Keeper here in a second. So all of you can look it over. So then we go to the festival itself. So this is the individual competitions, the feast, the entertainment. Most things that you guys decide to do for events to test the Sentinel are going to be included in these categories, in this lump sum that you're paying. The only time I'll make you pay more outside of this is if you're trying to do something really elaborate and really expensive, like I wanna have somebody go to the Astral Sea and bring back a cosmic horror to have the Sentinels fight the people. That's right. That'll cost some extra gold on your part to do.
How much to just put on the Tri-Wizard tournament?
That would probably be considered a for real, it would be the royal equivalent. So we have simple, which is very basic decoration, minimal prizes, local entertainers from Skyhaven or Sea Haven. That cost about 500 gold to do. Very basic. Then we have standard, which is moderate decorations, decent prizes for individuals that are participating in the like small tourney that would be held here on top of the Sentinel competition, and regional entertainers from all over Adaria. Grand, which would be 10,000 gold, which would be very elaborate setups, very valuable prizes, things like magical items, land grants, substantial gold rewards, and renowned entertainers from not just Adaria, but all over the surrounding nations. And then finally, Royal, which would be 15,000 gold. This is custom-built temporary venues, legendary prizes where you reach out to like family or royal, like noble houses, the like Lord Paramounts of the realm, and you see if there's anything they'd be willing to give or that you could buy that is like this really impressive thing. Famous performers from all over the plains.
Real quick, what was that second tier cost?
Standard 2,500.
Okay.
Do you are you putting this somewhere for us to look at?
After I go through it,
quickly?
I'll copy and paste it into its own
Okay,
Legend Keeper page.
cool.
Yeah.
So
I've
just
been
so that
asked
we
to see
know,
it.
to get royal for both would cost us 35,000 gold, leaving us with 15,000 gold.
Keep
Which
describing
honestly,
things.
not gonna lie, I'm kind of leaning that way. We'll find out how
Yeah.
much the ceremony costs, of course, but yeah.
Because
Okay.
like what our ship and everything to get here was what, like 200 gold or something.
Yeah, it wasn't expensive to get here.
Yep.
considerably.
Yeah, and the only thing you'll have to worry about is if you spend your entire allowance here, you won't have anything in Faith Spire.
That's true.
Also, the 50,000 is for both.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
you
mean,
don't get
15,000
50,000
is
each.
still
It
a
is
lot.
50,000 for both missions combined.
Yeah, got you.
15,000 still a decent chunk. I mean, we could dip down. Wait, is there another thing?
There
There's one
is,
more
yeah.
Yeah, we have the
Category.
ceremony
Oh
still.
shit! Never
Yeah.
mind.
Yeah, don't get too in the weeds
Okay.
yet.
Never mind. I thought we were good. I was like, fuck it, let's
Uh-uh.
go. Royal all the way, dude.
All right. Then we have our final one, which is the ceremony. This is the opening and closing ceremonies for the Sentinel's induction. So we have traditional, which is 3,000 gold, which is very basic ceremonial regalia, standard feast, traditional music and performers. Impressive, which is 10,000 gold, custom decorations, high quality feasts for hundreds, magical effects, and memorable entertainment. Magnificent, which is 25,000 gold, rare food and drink, custom commissioned artwork and performances, and elaborate magical displays. And finally, legendary, which is 30,000 gold. A once in a generation spectacle with Ryanite power
Generation.
displays, priceless ceremonial items, and an unforgettable magical experience. You're making Disney World, you know? It's
No. We're
it's
going
Why
to
do
Six
you-
Flags.
You're tempting us. I want to make Disney World.
great.
Yeah, but
So
like we
it
can't
is-
afford Disney World, you know? Like
This is now available under on Legend Keeper under the Crimson Court page with
Ooh.
Sentinel Festival cost.
What if we just blow our budget out by 15k and do everything?
we have
Um,
nothing.
so
left
as the
really to
treasurer, I'm gonna have to shut that down right now. We're not doing that.
Consider.
Once
I
in a
still-
generation doesn't. That's not. We're not doing that one. I'm just gonna put it out there.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
30K?
I feel like the ceremony, like even the 10k one, I feel like is decent, especially if we go all the way for the other ones.
Mhm.
Because what's the other things? So we'd have 5k left for dealing with Faith Spire.
Here's my not idea. What's the word? Opinion. For outreach, elaborate. It'd be cool to have extra planar people. We don't need it right now.
I mean, to be fair, extra planar threats is the like portfolio of the Sentinel.
Okay, so elaborate.
Yeah, having someone extra planar would make them more qualified,
Yeah.
which therefore is a better Sentinel.
Well, let's hear his whole pitch, then we can respond.
Elaborate, grand, impressive.
Okay.
Do we need to save that much
So-
money though?
I mean, the thing is, do we need to spend that much money? Is the question. Like
That's
that,
'cause-
it's so much money to spend on when we can. It's still like all of those options are still like people are going to be like, this is great. You know, like
yeah, but I'm also because that's I think 35k a lot, where we'd still have 15k left over, and we're not going to spend 15k on Faith Spire. Like I really doubt it.
We
So
also
it's
don't
like-
know what we're gonna run into there.
True.
I think that's the thing that I'm most nervous about is we don't know why we haven't had contact with this person. And why nobody's had contact with her. Getting there is not going to be that bad. Getting home's not going to be that bad. But it's whatever we have to deal with while we're there. I don't know.
what if we had to put
'cause I
money
would
back into
also
Faith Fire because
argue-
it's destroyed?
The fact that we don't know what's happening with Faith Spire means that it's not going to be some like cataclysmic event. Like there can't be like some big thing going over there because how come no one have noticed, even though there's been like spies and all that have been sent. Like obviously whatever it is impactful, the fact that we haven't like heard anything. But I feel like it's more going to be like a specialist rather than a grand force kind of operation, you know?
That's fair.
So therefore, like, this is for, like, all the kingdom's safety. We invest in this now, that's investing in how we deal with things in the future. we have a stronger sentinel now, then that makes things easier down the line than if we have a weak ass person who we're going to basically outpace, you know?
You ever thought about selling cars, Gemma?
Constantly.
I'm just kidding.
No.
Okay. Or Felicity, Ryan, thoughts?
I still kind of am more on like the cautious side just because we don't know what we're gonna experience. But I will say if we
subs.
I'm down to bump up for our outreach to Royal for the argument of what Gemma said, just because I'm like, I think it matters more the person we end up getting. You know what I mean? Like, that is like the point of it. So I'm okay to like spend the extra there. Like, the extra, what is that, 5,000? Yeah, 5,000.
Extra, yeah.
And then keep it grand and then impressive.
Yeah.
I mean, and then if we were even like scared, if we really want to save money, even like, I mean, standard for the events is still nice. So like, you know, but yeah, that's how I feel about it. Like, I think we should try and be a little cautious just because, like I said, don't know what we're going to experience. But at the same time, I'm down to splurge on the person, our options, because our uncle has some big shoes to fill. So
Yeah. I'd also say, like, I agree with, like, having grand and impressive for the other two, but it's really sensible that I'm hanging on. And because there's an extra 5k, we've already saved ourselves 2.5 with, like, the repairs. So really, it's only an extra 2,500 gold that we're spending, which, you know, girl math, it's worth it.
Yeah, for sure.
Can't be that argument. Anyways, I rest my case.
Merrick?
Yeah, my vote is in order: Royal for outreach, Grand for event, and Impressive for ceremony. It's 40,000. Yeah, we don't know what's going on at Faith Spire, but I agree with Gemma. Like, I don't see what it is to where having a lot of money is going to, like, be what solves the problem. Like, I think it's going to take other things, and I think holding on to 10k, like, that's still a lot of money to where whatever it is will still help us. And, like, this is something we know we need to do now, and I don't want us to hold back on this and shoot ourselves in the foot and then spend zero money in Faith Spire because we didn't even need to save the money. I'm not saying we blow it all, but I think 40k for the event, save 10k for Faith Spire. I think that's more than a reasonable thing.
So then everyone's on the same page then? Royal, Grand, and then Impressive?
Yeah. I'm down to clown
Easy.
with that. I'm good.
We clowning. Let's go.
John, do you have any final thought?
My only question is, we probably can't, but an in-between for the event standard and grand. Like, why do we need to give these people land grants and magical items? Like, if they're gonna
Good
lose.
question. The event, this is a question for Joe. The events,
Yeah.
are these just like individual competitions, feast, entertainment? This is what the people who are attending the event, like the people are like, oh, I just want to go and see who wins. Like the crowd, this is for them? Or is this the setup for the test that we're going to put them through? Or is it both?
It's both. So if you go with grand, it means your guys' tests can be more elaborate and you don't have to pay out of pocket for them.
I think that we should definitely do that because we don't want to give them some weak ass tests. You know what I mean? I feel like
I'm on the grand train. I'm
Okay.
on now.
Yeah, so everyone's in
I
agreement.
just don't
yeah.
I don't like the magical items, land grants, and substantial gold. I feel like if you lose, you shouldn't get shit. But
Those
maybe like
rewards
a
are for
participation
the
prize.
people. Well, those are for the people that are participating in the like event. Oh my god, thank you, Mike Tani, for the 5 gifted subs. Oh my goodness gracious.
Squad.
Oh my god, thank you so much. So that's the only appropriate response. You guys are too sweet. You're too kind. Thank you so much. Oh my god.
They want us to have the best freaking tournament ever.
Yeah, listen,
And
that
get the
was-
best sentinel.
I'm good. I'm good.
'Cause
We don't,
I'm
need
just-
to, we don't
wait.
need to debate this.
You sure?
Okay, I was just gonna say, what are you actually wanting? Because like we're still
no,
wanting
I'm just-
Grand.
Yeah, no,
Right?
I'm wanting great. I was just wondering if there was an in-between we can go with elaborate setup, but not give people
Oh,
magical
sorry.
items and
That's-
land grants.
That's what I was trying to say. Is before Vitani interrupted me. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Don't blame
Um,
her for this.
What I was gonna say was the prizes in Grand are for the small tourneys that are happening for people that come to Sky and Sea Haven.
So there's like little tourneys that are held for like people to participate for prizes there, and then it also includes the prizes, not the prizes, but the events you'll do for the Sentinel. The people that don't become Sentinel, they don't really get any consolation prizes. They just, yeah, this is for people that are coming to participate. So things like knights or people trying to make a name for themselves, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think it's also good to attract those people because, like, you know, we want to show off how good our like future Sentinel is going to be as well.
Yeah.
So,
All right. So we're going royal, grand, impressive.
yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Royal,
40K.
Lock it in.
and impressive.
All
Okay.
right. It was at 400 platinum.
4,000.
4,000 platinum.
Nice try.
Right.
That's as hard.
Could you imagine you slide that one over to Lady Alrin? She's like, yeah, that's right. I
That's
actually
why
don't know
we're
how to do
losing
math.
so much money.
That surely wouldn't bite us in the butt.
And you can see that Lady Alris is nodding, listening to all of you, and says, all right, I think that is the best way to do it as well. I think the more people we can have, the better. I think that making sure that any ideas of events that all of you come up with are covered within the expenses is important. The last thing you want is for all of the materials to get here and we get to the week of the celebration and then you have 10,000 gold and outstanding bills you need to pay because of the events that you wanted to run. And ceremony, while I do think it would be beneficial to have a much larger ceremony, considering we haven't had a new Sentinel in gods, not since Talon became king, he picked Rainier then. It's been quite some time, so... But I think that it's better we focus on getting the best person for the job rather than celebrating someone who could potentially be more mediocre. Very
Well,
good.
If we are discussing this, we could have the treasury put an extra 15K in for a magnificent ceremony.
Make a
I mean,
persuasion
you
check with
did make-
disadvantage.
I was still talking, man. It was gonna be
Sorry.
with
No,
advantage.
I'm not
continue.
gonna guidance
I
this
might
one, that
I might
feels
remove
weird.
the disadvantage. Keep what were you gonna say?
You did say that Rainier has been our only sentinel since Talon was king, and it could draw a lot more eyes, and I do think it is good. It's just, with the budget that we were given, it's unaffordable. But we would love to put on a magnificent ceremony.
Make it with disadvantage, but the DC is lower.
Aelin?
Kaylin just
Kaylin.
smiles at you, folds her hands on the table.
Oh, that's so sad.
Oh,
That's
It's
fucking
so
sad.
unfortunate.
I hate everything. That's so unfortunate.
Remember when I rolled 2 natural 20s last week with disadvantage?
That's so cool.
Not everyone can be as lucky as me, dude. Anyway, she sort of looks at you for a moment and she says, as much as I wish that I could do that, Edwin, part of your task as King's Hand is to work within the confines of, well, a budget, making sure that you can stick to what was given to you. While I do think it would be beneficial, and there's a part of me that wishes to expense that 15,000 gold for the expanded ceremony, this is the decision that the King's Hand made, and I think it's the one that we should go with. But I do
Understandable.
appreciate your eye and ear for negotiation.
Of course, not worth. It's worth trying. I am still working within our budget, just to be clear.
Very good, very good. And you still have enough left over for the tithes of Facebire, right?
I believe so. How
Very
much is
good.
that usually?
Well, it just depends. It's not mandatory, but in order to appease the lords and ladies of House Emberlin, typically royal guests, anytime the king goes, typically makes a tithe of 6,000 to 7,000 gold in payment.
Yes, we have quite enough for that.
Very good. Of course, not necessary, but doesn't look good, you know?
We wouldn't want to let them down.
Exactly.
Yes, of course.
Exactly.
Edwin
very good.
side eyes the siblings like,
Yeah, Kayla
But-
just taps her fingers on the table.
Edwin, I'm sure with your skills at negotiation, you'll figure out something.
I'm sure I will. Thank you for your confidence.
Of course, of course. Well, then I will go ahead, and she sort of scoops up the papers. And you see that she drafts a couple of new reports that are finalized. 3 reports for each one of the 3 budget expenditures. She writes out various items that will need to be purchased, budgeting for them, these 3 different requisitions, and she signs the document for the Chancellor of the Treasury, hands it over to Edwin to sign.
Reads it over.
She just
And
stands like,
it takes Edwin's also got ADHD, so it takes a hot minute.
mm-hmm.
Mm.
Would you like me to read it to you?
No, it's fine.
All right.
This line, right? Nope, that's good.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, all right.
All right.
Okay. All right. And then she, you sign Edwin, and you can see that she pours a little bit of wax on the paper. And Edwin, this is the first time that you have done an official requisition of this size, which requires the stamping of the king's hand. So you take your little pin off, and the pin itself has that little handle, the sword poking out of the bottom, and that's what you use to sort of use as a handle to press down on the wax to seal it for the king's hand. Put the pin back on. Very good. She rolls up all 3, puts them in a leather tube, and says, I will go get everything set up for all of you, and hopefully by the time you finish up what you have in Faithspire, all of those supplies will be here.
And is that also when we'll be expecting that extra 2,500 gold for Skyhaven?
Oh, I'm going to take care of that right now. Make sure that those
amazing.
repairs are done well in time.
Thank you.
Yes. Of course. Well, my princes, my princesses, my lady, looking to you, Kaelin, trying to respect the boundaries that you've set as well. It was a great pleasure working with all of you, and, well, it is nice to see all of you communicating with decorum. And she will give a bow, and she'll head out of the room, leaving the
Wow, was it
5 of you alone.
necessary? That's Ryan talking, not Merrick.
As soon as she
Who the
leaves,
hell she thinks she is?
as soon as she leaves, did anyone else know that there was a tithing to Faithspire?
No,
It
it's-
is
no.
traditional to give gifts to lords and ladies when you're visiting.
Did you know it was around 6,000 to 7,000 gold?
I think every different place has their own laws of hospitality, and it'd be inappropriate for any of us to breach it.
Xanthi, you can simply say no.
She did.
Does she actually know?
No, none of
Is
you.
there a rule I can do?
She didn't know.
roll deception, baby.
Yeah, make a history check with disadvantage. The thing is, none of you have been to Faithspire, and there's never been a
I'm a
reason.
pomp and circumstances kind of girly. Come on.
I know, but it's
And
niche.
Xanthi knew this entire time and still went with the budget we just made. And we're gonna be upset. Nah, she didn't know
Well-
shit.
12.
Oh, hey, hold on. Did that not?
Yeah, but just
Oh,
yeah, it just rolled the 1. So and let's see another one. It was 8. 8's pretty.
I think it's gonna end up rolling 3 times. Cause no, maybe. Or did
Good.
that just not work?
Throwing dice out there.
I'm so confused.
Well, I'm guessing with
Okay,
the
I was-
12 you didn't know anyway, so
With an
Not
8
even worse.
especially. Xanthi, the
There we
thing
go.
is, the ruling on tithes changes so frequently, where it's not something that's necessarily dictated by the Lord and Lady Paramount. It's something that's dictated by the churches that call Faithspire home, which there is about there's 5 major churches and then 25 minor churches that call home to Faithspire. And that payment that you make to the lords and the ladies then gets distributed to the various churches by the House of Emberlin. So it changes so frequently. The last time you had studied this, when you were in your studies for that, was like 10 years ago, and the tithe was like 1,000 gold.
Well, it's always naturally fluctuated, of course. It's something you can blame the churches for.
Right. So you could still say no. No, I do not know the tithing.
Just let it
Which
go,
is fine.
Edwin.
Just bringing like a kindly gift of a goat or a hog for trade.
That is how the Nornathi people do it, and I think they do it very good. I think that should be how it's everywhere. 6,000 gold to say hello?
It is a sign of goodwill to your hosts, Edwin.
What the hand of the king? Shouldn't they be hosting us?
It's not even our money.
Even more so, I should. Anyways,
I assure you, lords and ladies do the same when they visit us. It is standard practice.
I need to check the books.
Well, I have a very important guest that I'm going to go speak with now, if you all will excuse me.
Oh, wait, before you go, I wanted to ask, who is that fellow? Bjorn, right?
Yes, Bjorn is a dear friend of mine from the Serpent's Grove. He was a good friend of my mother's, actually, and he is the one who accompanied me to Crown's Rest when I was younger.
Oh.
I write to him often, but I haven't seen him in quite some time, so it is a very pleasant surprise to see him here of all places.
Okay. Well, I assume you want to go alone, so we will give you your privacy. Just be careful. Make sure you bring an outfit of guards with you.
That's not necessary.
It might be. We have a big presence in the city. I think at least some
I-
should attend.
Assure you, Edwin, I couldn't be more safe. And with that, she kind of smiles and leaves.
Yeah, she'll be fine. So, Xanthi, you and I need to start talking about what exactly you want out of this whole ceremony and event.
Of course.
Do you have
Did you-
ideas?
She's gonna bring out, like, she has, like, the part of, like, her pack or satchel or whatever. She's gonna, like, just bring out some, like, scrolls and books and stuff. She's been working on it.
Only a few.
It's all... It's in that very, like, popular girl aesthetic, you know, where it's just, like, everything's very, like, neat and, like, color-coded.
Wow.
Well, Wisp, should we
But-
go clean our rooms and do our homework?
Yep.
Well, we'll leave you to that.
I do want to
Edwin,
just
when you're
clarify real quick that
Sorry.
you guys do need to, a majority needs to agree on Xanthi's ideas. So that is definitely
Yeah, I
a
was gonna
group
say.
conversation.
Edwin and Xanthi just in the room still.
Can't
Alright,
get
well.
anything done.
Okay.
Said this
Xanthi just
Well,
I guess
I
we'll
guess-
wait then.
Edwin just says, I mean, you could show it to me now and repeat yourself later, or we could just wait.
Absolutely not. Just pack everything away again.
Right. All right, well, let's go clean our rooms.
All right. So with that, the four of you head off to the skyward window, which is the sort of large foyer that connects all of the children's rooms together. And Kaylin, you head back to Sea Haven, which, Kaylin, we're going to go ahead and come to you first. So as you walk back out into Sea Haven, the sound of the city hits you, as well as the windy ocean side. Much, much, much louder now. And of course, the sounds of the harbor. You make your way throughout the city streets, heading to where you believe to be Bjorn is, but you realize something, Kaylin, as you're getting ready to leave. He said he was going to head to the Serpent's Shrine. You had not heard of, nor have you ever been to a Serpent Shrine within Skyhaven. before, or Sea Haven. That's not something that, as far as you know, has been here. So in terms of finding it, how do you want to do that?
Ooh, well, I think she would probably leave, like, the city proper then and kind of head more inland. Knowing Bjorn, probably towards, if there is, like, a large stretch forest nearby of some sort, I think that's where she would start heading first.
Okay. Yeah. You begin to head out of the city a bit. The sound of the city, the harbor, and the ocean fades, as eventually the sounds of chorus begin to come much clearer into what you can hear.
Yeah, I will say as we kind of get towards the edge of the forest, I think she's going to make like a little mental note of where she's at. So she comes back the same direction, and she's going to kind of ditch her shoes and like a little nearby bush. She's gonna be barefoot. And then Samson usually like rests around her shoulders wherever she's at in the city, but as soon as we hit grass and dirt, she's gonna put him down so he can walk alongside her.
Okay. Sounds good to me. So you begin walking and searching for anything that could lead you to wherever this serpent's shrine is. Out of water already. Whoops. Kaylin, I'd like you to make a perception check as you're walking through the woods, just trying to get a bearing on where you are and see if you recognize anything from the small amount of time you did spend at Skyhaven.
Been a long time.
Oh no!
Shout that out. She hasn't been here in a long time.
No, she has not. And Caitlin, it's also been a long time since you have, really been in a woods that wasn't the Crimson Grove near Crown's Rest. And you realize how rusty you are on it, to be honest. And that makes you kind of sad, and you kind of end up wandering, and it takes Samson to kind of like grab you and like tug on to your the bottom of your dress and kind of be like, hey, where are you going? And kind of try and direct you in a different direction. But you continue to walk, and it takes quite a bit of time until eventually you do stumble upon a shrine. And this is a rather old shrine. It's fairly overgrown with moss and vines carved from stone of the World Serpent, one of the three primary entities of the Zakari people. And there you see, sitting in front of it on his knees, head bowed, is Bjorn. As you step forward, he sort of turns his head back and says,
You made it. Good. Please, take a seat with me.
Yeah, she like looks at the shrine, confused, not knowing that this was here, and she quickly goes and sits next to him. Very, I would say almost childlike. Like she's wanting to learn as much as she can in this moment, but still this feeling of what are you doing here at the same time.
You have many questions. I can see it on your face.
She kind of looks at him and for a second doesn't have any words. You are so old. And she like touches the scars and the wrinkles on his face. Where have you been? Did you get my letter, the one I wrote you not long ago?
No, I have not received letter. Soon, at all. I came because it was time.
She's going to speak in Elvish, and she's going to say, "Time for what?"
And he sort of turns away from you and he looks at the shrine and says, in Elvish,
Do you know who built this shrine?
No, I didn't even know this was here. I didn't think our people came this far.
They did not. Before your father left the Serpent's Grove, he asked Senua for stones to take with him, so he could take a small part of the Serpent's Grove with him.
You
He
never
asked-
told me that.
I do not know if because of shame or because Zakari are viewed as bad here. But Zakari who live in nation are
and you can see as he's starting to grow more comfortable, especially speaking in Elvish, it starts to come a little bit more naturally to him, speaking.
the Zakari are viewed poorly within Adaria. And your father, due to his complicated family lines, has not made ruling any easier on himself. I view maybe if he had been viewed as a king who also worshipped the serpent, he would be viewed even more as an outsider than what he may already be in those royal courts.
Well, I wish he would have told me this. It would be nice to know that he... I don't know, sometimes I think that Alan forgets. And I just don't know how you could forget something so beautiful. But maybe he's not as forgetful as I think.
Forgetting is easier. To remember is painful.
And you see he sort of looks at the statue. You had similar ones in your small town in the Serpent's Grove where you had lived. Statues that were broken and toppled on that fateful night.
I come because it was time. You were too little to know, to understand the words. But the great serpent spoke to your mother. On the night she returned to the great serpent.
I don't understand.
The great serpent said to her, when the gauntlet of steel and expectation falls upon a bed of roses, the bear must make haste to the falcon's mountain throne. Shadows grow long where royal blood runs thin. The serpent told her that her daughter walked among them, yet they do not know the darkness that stalks their steps. An ancient guardian stirs from its slumber. And the final thing the serpent said was that crimson would rise once more. They lay dormant in my mind until several weeks ago, when I heard the king's hand travel to Rosemont, I knew that it was time. So I came here.
And you see he looks up past the trees at the mountains where Skyhaven peeks out.
To the Falcon's mountain throne. I come here because you need protection. You and your siblings. From what I hear from the kind woman, Marianne is her name, yes?
Yes.
There is a festival to become a protector of this area, yes?
Yes. To be the Sentinel, yes.
Sentinel. If my lady would allow it, my sweet little cub.
You see he tried to do the Adarian, thing in that moment, but he couldn't help but just go back to what he's known, what he's always known.
I wish to enter this tourney to become Sentinel, so I can protect you and your siblings from whatever may come. I know I am an outsider, but I try to learn. I bowed. I can call you lady if you like.
No, Bjorn, that is not necessary. Yes, you should. Yes, this is... I don't understand everything. But I saw something. She, hesitates to say what she's going to say, afraid of what he's going to say.
Speak, child.
Something attacked Rainier. And we don't know what it was, but it not only attacked his body, but it attacked his spirit. And something told me to look, and I tried to veil walk, and it...
Kaelin.
Oh, but let me finish. It sort of worked in a very strange way. I'm fine, I'm here, nothing happened to me, but when I did, I saw this thing, this black creature with these tendrils reaching out and feeding off of him. And I tried to stop it, but it knew my name. It called me by my name, Bjorn. It was so strange. But I knew that's what it was doing. I knew it was trying to harm his soul. And is this the shadow that you're talking about? Is that what this is?
And you see he kind of growls, this sort of deep low. He's trying not to show that disappointment. And it's not disappointment. It is anger. Not at you, though. He speaks to you with care, but this thing, whatever it is, it's anger.
To be Zidani is to put yourself at danger. Every time. Every single time. To not know the truths of that world, the strengths.
I know.
To go into Nis Thalori is it is to expose your spirit, your soul, your spark.
I had to. I didn't know what else to do. I know.
And what did you see?
Like I said, it's a strange thing. It had no form. It just was. And Nan told me there are just creatures that exist in the in-between that just do that. But this is... How did it know my name? Why did it attack Rainier in such a way? We still have not fully revived him. There's still a part of him missing. Can you do something? Talon was going to send for a Veil Walker. This is perfect. Maybe you can help somehow. This is good, Bjorn. Yes, you should enter the tournament. You would be a perfect choice. Think about all the experience that you have. Think about what you're capable of, what you are.
I will enter this tourney, little cub, but you must know that no Veil Walker will answer Talon's calls.
Why?
All Sithani take an oath, one that binds us. We cannot break them, for if we do, we can no longer enter Nistadori. We are barred from ever Veil walking again.
But if you are made Sentinel, you can do that, though, right?
If I am made Sentinel, I believe it would not shatter my oath, as my duty would then be to the nation of Adaria. And then to protect its people, I would need to protect Rainier.
Great.
But, Kaelin, the other thing you must know is that another part of my oath is that I cannot lie. And I tell you this right now. If you Veil walk again, now that whatever that thing is knows your name, it can find you. And it may try to hurt you or even worse. So unless I am there to guide you and to walk with you, you do not go into that realm. Do you understand me?
Yes, I understand. You have my word, I understand.
Good. That being said, it was very brave what you did. And it shows the strength of your spirit that you survived. And it sounds exactly like something your bull-headed mother would have done.
I'm so happy you're here.
And I am
I
very
didn't
happy
know.
to see you.
I didn't know the World Serpent spoke to her. I knew I was supposed to be here for a reason. And now you're here. She takes his hands.
Yeah.
Everyone is going to know how important our people are. And I think you can win. I know you can win, Bjorn. I know you can. We just have to make sure that people... I don't know. I have been fighting this battle my entire life here, that they aren't going to cast judgment before they know what it is we are capable of. But I think once the people see, you can earn their trust. Mother trusted you. I trust you. Talon trusts you.
Something I fear he gives away much too easily. But, regardless, for all of the qualities that your father does have. He's a good man. And assisting him in protecting this realm is something that I would be proud doing. But you, I'm sure, have your duties as a princess to attend to.
As a lady.
Oh, as a lady, you are princess. This much I have learned.
I don't like that title very much.
What is wrong with being princess? You get to wear big, beautiful gowns and wear a tiny crown. It sounds quite nice, don't you think? Everyone stares at you all the time and talks about you all the time. What's not to love
No,
about that?
Bjorn. Ladies have stood the test of time. There's the lady of forest. There's a lady of the air. The lady of the earth that we walk on. That is what I want to be. I don't want to be a princess. But I do have things I need to do. I will make sure that when the call goes out that you receive an invitation, Bjorn. When the tournament begins, I think that you will prove yourself. I have no doubt. I think this is the change that we really need.
You see, he stands and he'll help you up. You see, for him, it's like picking up a piece of paper when he helps you up. As he says,
I will do what I can here in Skyhaven to make people see that I can help, that I am good man, and that I am good at what I do. So that way, hopefully, when I do petition,
you'd see that word is spoken in common, since that's not something that is that is done in the Serpent's Grove.
when I do that, they will know me. They will know Bjorn Wildblood.
I am the happiest I have been in a very long time. Okay. I will go and I will speak to my siblings about this at some point.
Yes.
Because I'm sure that's going to go well.
I am sure.
Once they know who you are, there's no doubt that at least giving you a chance is the best thing for this kingdom. But I will go. And you will hear from me soon.
Your sister, the blue one, with Xanthi, she uses trident, yes?
Yeah.
It is an admirable weapon for a warrior. You see, I had a friend from a fishing town up the coast, up north. He used the same thing. He would fight back Kuatoa and Sahagwin with them.
Yeah, well. Don't tell her that. She already has a big enough head as it is.
Oh, something about people with tridents, I think. My friend also had quite the ego.
Yeah, well, and her head is just big, too.
Hey. That is your sister.
She just, like, tries to mimic the same growling sound that he made earlier, but it comes out very, like, almost like a chirp instead.
Yeah. You see Samson is kind of like rolling his eyes at what Bjorn said too and growling a bit. And Bjorn looks to Samson and says,
Hey, I don't complain to you when you would nibble at my shoes in the village, did I? You keep your opinions to yourself.
Listen, I don't think you'll be so impressed when you meet her, but we shall see. I'm just gonna scoop up Samson. I'll see you soon, Bjorn.
Very good. And Kaelin, one last thing before you go.
Yes.
I know you might not like it, but growing up in that town with your mother, the way that you acted, you have always been a princess, whether you knew it or not. And I mean that. It's a compliment. It's a very good thing. But, respect your wishes, Lady Kaelin.
Thank you. What should I call you? Sir Bjorn.
Ugh.
Are you a knight now?
No. No, thank you. I don't know how they wear those helms, and I don't know how the armor would do with, well, my shifting.
I think it'd be quite the sight. But
I think so
I really
too.
should go.
Yes, go, please. With that.
Smiles and she lingers for a little bit and then she'll turn to go.
Yep, and you see he sits back down and on his knees, and he pulls his sort of giant greatsword that he has from his shoulder and pulls out a whetstone and just as he begins to sharpen the blade, preparing for a little bit of light adventuring, it seems, as Bjorn tries to maybe accept a few contracts, protect a few people, kill a few monsters to make a name for himself in Skyhaven before the tourney arrives. All right. Fantastic. So with that, let's go ahead and move out of the hour. And as we begin to move back to the to Skyhaven, as all of you make your way to the rooms, you can see there are some servants that stop you. They ask about, items that you had on the ship and where you'd like those to be placed and what rooms you'll be staying in. And all of you do have rooms that you've stayed in as adults, or rooms that, are yours as adults that have been well kept. So you take time to get settled into your rooms, and as all of you get settled into your rooms is about the time that Kaelin makes her way back up, as all of you head to the children's corridors where the skyward window is, and you prepare to sort through your childhood belongings, whatever may be, back in these rooms. However, on that note, we are going to take a very, very brief break there, just because I have to restock on water, and I desperately need to use the bathroom. So thank you for the follow. Draw deck ram. Sure, I said
Say
that
again?
wrong. I actually don't know another way to de-raw. Never mind, not that one. All right, thanks for watching so far, everybody, and we'll be back in 5. So 55 your time. 55 is when we'll be live. All right. So that way, if there's something in the vault that, you feel like shouldn't be there, or that none of you put in there, you can go to her and you can see who put that item in there. And
Could you send us a list of all the names?
Yeah, that would
Yeah.
be
Mhm.
helpful.
yeah, I got you. And then finally, there is Dravana Windmere, who is an elf, who is the steward of guest relations. So anytime guests are staying, she makes sure that the rooms are clean and proper, and that anything they need is taken care of. So if you have a Loxodon guest coming over, she'll make sure that an extra large bed is put in the room to accommodate their stature. You find, after walking through the village, taking about 15-20 minutes to get together, and you find that forward camp. No! You
Tits?
find pitched tents. Pitched tents. No!
Clip it.
Hey, there's your first.
Okay, great. She will do a firebolt.
Okay, all right, sounds good. I'm also gonna.
Oh
put
my god, another natural 20.
Whoa!
All right, so that is a 10 plus a D10.
Whoa.
Via can't stop killing.
I know. I know.
She's grown a
So good
taste
at
for
it.
it.
The dice are barely telling the best story because I was like, oh, she's gonna be timid and miss all the time.
She's
So I
gonna
was
be like,
setting her up for that.
I don't want the crown anymore. I'm just really good at this.
Okay, so yeah, she will. All of her schooling is coming back to her. So that's a 16 total damage.
Jesus Christ.
12.
Well, that just hits. Well, wait. Yep.
I was like, really?
Yeah, that just hits. Since you're hitting him from the opposite side, he does not have the 3/4 cover bonus.
Oh, okay. All right, Via, you've surprised me. 6 points of fire damage.
6 points. He is dead.
Via just looks at her
He's a
hands.
murderer.
Oh my god! What is her death count?
Kills at everyone.
So I'd say Via might have the highest kill count
I
right
think
now.
so.
You got double the kills of anybody.
Oh
so
my
far.
god! So yeah, she just looks at her hands and then focus back at the fight. Here we go.
Kalen's whole outlook on her is about to change.
Kaylin's like, I can work with this.
Darian Watch is going to move. There is Gregor Flint Barrel, who is in charge of the cellar logistics, making sure that the food and board is good here, and that everybody has everything they need to eat. If there's any guests that are coming that have any dietary restrictions, making sure that those are there. There is Vitala Duskrun, who is a halfling. She is the keeper of the vault. So it's her job to keep track of everything that she has record of that has ever been stored in that vault. And anything that you store in there as well. And that record is something that is stored on her person. And it is private and only shareable with all of you.
Guys,
No,
Via,
no,
it's up to you.
No,
No, Via.
he ain't
Via's
getting
gotta
away.
kill him.
Come on, Via. It's your
Come on,
time.
Via.
Ray of sickness.
Man up.
She's already
Alright,
killed
Via.
one. She's gonna have so much trauma from this trip. Like she.
She was like, I'm so excited for this road trip with my
I'm
siblings.
just so excited to spend time with my family. Meanwhile, since it started, why can't I stop killing people?
Why is this happening? Okay. What do we think? Firebolt or Ray of Sickness?
Burn him alive.
I don't know. Yeah, we don't have one of those.
Okay. Okay.
Oh shit, he's back.
That was the fastest piss in the West.
Because I had to listen. It's across
Did
the
you wash
hall.
your hands?
It's yes, I did. My hands
on
are
the way there and all the
Fastest
way.
piss in the West is the greatest thing you've ever said, Gayla. I ignore that.
Okay, we're back. We're ready to go.
Well,
I'm so
Merrick's not.
Well, yeah, we don't have Ryan now.
Ryan, dude.
Look, in his defense, I don't think anyone thought you were gonna take a 3-second piss.
Thanks for the follow, old chubby.
Pissing from rain.
Save for the piss.
Yeah, I covered my camera up. It's just right across the hall, like right past that door. So in the frame, I was just look, mom, no hands.
Were you just at your office door?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Anyway,
Oh my God.
Kobe. Falls off to the side.
What is going on? You rigged the game, Joe. This is some bullshit.
Merrick, dagger in. You are so focused because if you move your hand just 1 inch too much, you'll end up lifting the mechanism. You'll end up lifting the mechanism, and then it'll end up setting the whole thing off anyway. And you see the dragon egg beginning to shift out of the corner of your eye, but you're so focused on what you're doing as you throw your hand up to try and catch it. The depth perception on the corner of your eye is not where it needs to be. as you end up trying to grab it as it's already beginning to shift and fall. The egg doesn't crack or shatter. In fact, it breaks part of the stone. Hey there, everybody. I think the fastest Biz in the West might be my favorite clip so far. It's a good one for sure.
That's the one I just played.
I guess so, yeah.
Tense.
All right, dude. So let's go ahead and dive back in. Picking up where we
Right off the bat.
right where we left off. Our group of adventurers, the King's Hand, had finally made their way to Sea Haven, the city that is connected to Skyhaven, the ancestral home and keep of House Falkrest. As you all arrived, you were greeted by a retinue of royal guests, as well as two individuals that one of which all of you recognized and the other only one recognized. Marianne Blackthorn, the steward of Skyhaven, all of you recognize this sort of grandmotherly figure to all of you, and the other person being Bjorn Wildblood. It's getting less smooth each sip. Bjorn Wildblood, who is one of the Zakari people, one of Kaelin's people, the same man who had taken Kaelin all the way from the far western side of the continent to the far eastern side, all the way from the Serpent's Grove to Crown's Rest, to deliver her to the throne, to Dragon's End, and say, Talon, this is your child from Senua. And then Kaelin never saw him again, would write to him. But oh my goodness, thank you enough for the 5 gifted subs. For I'm assuming for my marathon of water drinking here and for nothing else related to the game. Thank you so much. So Kaelin goes and speaks with him while all of you get everything set up at the keep. The conversation that him and Kaelin have is that he wishes to become the Sentinel of Adaria, or he at least wishes to join the tourney to try to become it. And if he is most worthy, it's something he wants to do because he wants to be able to be there to protect not just Kaelin, but her siblings. He believes something is coming based off words that were spoken to Kaelin's mom. And he believed her, and he wants to be able to protect Kaelin and her siblings. So he is... he is going to try his best to do that, to be that person. Will he be the best person for the job? There's no way of knowing until the trials get here, but what you do know is that he's loyal. He will be. The fact that he can't lie makes that a lot easier to verify. So, with that, all of the children converge within Skyhaven at the skyward window. It's here. Now, the skyward window is an area that all of you are incredibly familiar with, because this is the place where all of you, when you were younger and would come to Crown's Rest, or not to Crown's Rest, to Skyhaven, where all of you would stay. As the skyward window, it dominates the entire eastern wall of the children's chamber. It is this enormous arched opening that frames a breathtaking view of the mountain range beyond Skyhaven. It's enchanted against the elements, so the window allows fresh mountain air to circulate while keeping out rain and snow. And during daybreak, the first light of dawn floods through the opening, bathing the chamber in this golden light. It's a tradition that's meant to ensure children of the Falkrest bloodline grow up understanding that they are the first line of defense against any encroaching darkness. However, most kids that grew up here hated it with every fiber of their being because they were always the first people in the keep to wake up. And that's incredibly frustrating when you are 6 years old. But
That is the chamber that all of you walk into. All right. So, by this point, I would say it's getting pretty close to nighttime after everything you've done today. It's probably 8, 9 o'clock. But in order to be effective with your time, you head to the children's chamber. So you can sort through those items, whatever they may be, to figure out what you're going to keep and what you're going to sort of give away or let go of. So, let's see here. This isn't necessarily in any particular order. These are just items that are in your rooms. So let's see here. I'm gonna roll a dice here, and that'll determine who we go to first. So we have 5 people. Okay. All right. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and start with Xanthi. So Xanthi, as you make your way into your chamber, which would have been your room when you were a kid and you would come here, what does Xanthi's chamber look like? It's pretty much been untouched since the last time she was here as a kid. What do you think sort of the general vibes of this room are? Not worrying about specific items, but first glance, what do you see?
Hey, real quick, how kiddie are we talking?
For Xanthi, probably the last time she would have stayed here was when she was 14.
Damn, okay. I think at 14, I imagine there's kind of a split in the room. There's gonna be like a few like little like training swords and like different like weapons and shit. You know, she hadn't established the Trident identity yet. You know, we're not there yet.
Yeah, for sure.
So there's gonna be those kind of like more martial things, like little like shitty bits of like armor, whatever, like that kind of martial side. But then also like just framed around the walls, and there's probably like books of them as well. There's just gonna be little things of like pressed flowers and very early and cruder things of embroidery that she's done. And so I imagine it's kind of this thing of just like there's these kind of like beautiful like more artsy things, and then just like, you know, martial shit everywhere.
That sort of transition.
Neat,
Yeah.
of course. I will say it is definitely all kept very neat.
Yeah, of course. So Xanthi, as you walk in, you're kind of confronted by this split personality of your younger self. And you can see that on the bed that's in here, which is neatly made, right? It's dusted in here, but these are items that were found around the keep that belonged to Xanthi at one point in time, whether it be from her childhood or a little bit later. Beyond that, ended up staying here in Skyhaven for whatever reason. So as you open the small box, you notice that there are 2 items in here. The first one is a something that you had almost forgotten about, a charm necklace. This was crafted by Kaelin many years ago as a peace offering between the two of you. You can see that it's slightly tarnished. The leather cord seems to be more well worn than probably what you'd like to admit, as you know that this necklace, you did end up wearing it on a few occasions, much more than you'd ever admit to anybody else. And the other thing that you find is a training journal with battle diagrams and formations. But as you begin to flip through it, thinking it's just another one of the books or another one of the instruction manuals, you see small notes written in the margins in Via's handwriting. And some of those pages have the answers to Via's questions there. Xanthi responding to her, almost like passing notes back and forth, but within your training journal. What's going through Xanthi's head as she sees both those items?
I think we'll go for the charm necklace first.
Mhm.
She kind of like picks it. I think it would like take her like a second to remember what it is. And she would just kind of like brush where the charm is, like between her fingers, you know, just like feeling it and like kind of investigating it, you know. And I think there's just like a little bit of a sigh from her. And she would just tuck it away somewhere on her where it's not going to be obvious, you know, like in a pocket or some shit. And then she moves to that journal, flicking through those pages. And I think it is just like a thing of just kind of just happy memories, you know, looking through it. Probably being like, I should serve you this. But yeah, she definitely spends most of the time on the journal rather than the charm necklace.
Of course. Okay. Awesome. So Xanthe, you kind of sit in that room on that bed that's definitely a little too small for you right now. And you flip through that notebook, reading those things that you and Via would write to each other when she was much, much, much younger. And you can't help but laugh at some of the silly questions that she asked you back then. And sometimes your equally silly responses. You surprise yourself with how low you were willing to go at that time. All right. Next kid. That is going to be Octavia.
That's me.
As you. So, Via, as you head to what would have been your room, open the door, first glance, what does it look like? What do you see?
I'm going with, if Xanthe's was like 14, Via's was probably when she was like 4, right? Like really young.
Yeah.
I'm gonna guess the bed is small. Like she like barely like fits. Like she can sleep in there and she will, but it's kind of snug now. And she's got like a lot, just like it's like that toddler kind of room almost, where she's got like some stuffed animals and stuff that she hadn't really like seen in a while. Just a lot of young toys, so she might just like giggle and like laugh at them, especially like the bedding being just so like youthful and stuff.
Yeah. So Octavia, you go over to your items that have been collected, whether they be from around Skyhaven or within this room yourself, knowing that you initially had this room decorated and chose what you wanted when you were 4, but would stay here occasionally whenever you'd come back over summer and, you know, go here to spend time with Rainier and your father for family vacations.
Yeah.
And the 2 items that you see within the box that had been saved for you, there is a small wooden chest. And in here are all the trinkets that Edwin had brought to you over the years, the ones that you know, were unable to take with you to Arkenvale. Each item carefully wrapped in the cloth, and each one has a small note describing where it came from and the story behind how Edwin obtained it and where he found it and why he thought it would be a good gift for you. All these tiny, tiny, tiny knickknacks that really individually don't seem like a lot, but in this moment, as you're kind of looking at them, Edwin did always think about you guys when he left. And he always, always, always brought something back that he saw. So you kind of look through all those, and you can't help but laugh and smile at some of them that just you remember as a kid you did not like. You thought was such a lame gift that he brought back for you. But you had to be a princess and you had to be thankful. And, you know, looking back, it seems silly now. The other thing you find is something that Via, you can't help but laugh at as you see it, which is this sort of half-finished project with these very detailed sketches and a collection of materials that you had that were unused after helping Merrick create an engagement gift for Solara.
No.
You see some of your notes on it and how you just absolutely wanted to make it perfect. And some more sad notes about the reality of your own parents. But those kind of trail off as you focus on the happiness, which was helping Merrick make this thing that you remember Solara loved. And it was probably because of your artistic guidance.
Of course. She will just kind of look through those, and I think through the gifts, she might pick out stuff that she knows her niece, who's around the age appropriate gifts from
Yeah.
what Edwin gave for her niece, and so she might set those aside for when she gets to meet her and hopefully gift them to her. So.
Okay. Fantastic. You pull a couple of those off to the side that seem appropriate. Does Via do anything else, or what's going through her mind as she's sort of going through these things?
Oh, she's thinking about how she wishes she was able to grow up here a little bit longer and not have it be kind of like a time capsule a little bit. So she wishes she had decorated this room and had time here, and even just with her siblings. And so her heart hurts a little bit, but Edwin's gifts of him always remembering really helps.
Okay. The camera kind of pans out of Octavia's room, and we move to Merrick. So
what age range for Merrick roughly?
I think because the thing is, you know, you guys would have stayed at Skyhaven at different times, at different ages. You would have been given different rooms. It's not, there was only, I think, 1 or 2 times where all of you came here together.
Yeah, there.
I think there's only 1 time that all of you came here together, and I at least know that one. So, and we'll get to that in a second. But I would say, you know, probably in between the age range of Via and Xanthi, so between that sort of like 14 to 4 area, whatever you think is right.
Cool. Yeah, I think Merrick's room, there'd be... I think he started kind of getting interested in like nature and like outdoorsy stuff, so I think there would be like a lot of furs. I imagine that like, you know, his former tutor and like, you know, people who helped train him, even like Rainier, would bring him like, you know, like fur blankets or things that they had just like been able to like hunt and kind of craft for him, you know. Probably some like very dull knives or like whatever, because you know, gotta be responsible. There's also like a lot of books and a lot of games, stuff that like games that you'd play kind of by yourself. Yeah, I'd say that those would be kind of like the main things in Merrick's room.
Yeah, of course. So Merrick, you move over to your bed and you kind of open up the box that's there for you, and you find 2 items as well. One being a handcrafted set of wooden dice with serpent engravings. This is a set that you and Kaylin made together to be able to play serpent's dice together. And on top of that, when you open the box, you see there's a little tally sheet that had been saved. The last time the 2 of you had played here in Skyhaven, and it shows the original score, which was 2.5 to 1.5 in Kaylin's favor.
Just for old time's sake, Merrick's gonna roll the 2d6 and see what he gets, if I may.
Yeah, of course.
All right.
You shake it. And
Damn it!
You roll.
Suck at this game. I did not score, for those of you who are at home.
So sorry about your bad luck.
Nah, it's fine. It's fine.
So you roll the dice and you kind of throw them down, and you can't help but roll your eyes at the result. And let out this heavy sigh.
Some things never change.
And you kind of set those off to the side. You reach in and you find a little worn, hand-drawn map on a piece of parchment for the forests surrounding Skyhaven, marked with yours and Edwin's notes about truffle locations. There's little dates and little tallies about their findings, and there's little circles in different colors that says M's favorite spot and E's favorite secret spot that only he told you about. So Merrick holds those items. What's going through his head?
I think there's a lot. I think there's a fondness of the memories, but he can't help but think about how things are and just feel a bit of disappointment that, things changed over the years.
Yeah. Okay. So
But he'll keep them both.
Yeah, you kind of sit with those feelings, Merrick, as we pan away. Uno mas? Well, not one more. Two more, actually. Roll again. Okay, Caitlin.
Yes. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to ask the same question I asked everybody, so I think you're going to answer that. When Caitlin opens her room, she did not stay here very, very much at all in her time. I think she was only here on maybe 2 or 3 occasions for maybe a month at a time. So what does Caitlin's room look like?
I think even if she was only there for a short amount of time, Kaylin's always been a little bit of a magpie, so she has like a collection of obscure things, just from like small little animal skulls to little feathers, and like if she saw a twig that looks interesting, she would bring it home. So it's kind of messy in the sense that it's just cluttered with just stuff that she's brought in from outside.
Yeah.
I feel like she had a rock collection. Yeah, and then on the walls are some very rudimentary drawings of like her and Bjorn and Senua all holding hands. There's a picture of her and Samson. But then in all of these drawings, she always draws like this weird little like shadow thing in the corners of all of them. And they never really have a shape. They're just kind of amorphous blobs.
Yeah.
But she looks happy in all of those pictures that she's drawn.
Yeah. So, Kaylin, as you move throughout your room, you can see Samson kind of hops off your shoulder and goes to explore this room that he also hasn't been in a while. And you see he finds a couple of things he stored away as well that he was very happy about. A collection of small mice bones that he was really excited to find.
Well,
As well as a couple acorns that he stored away. Heard from a squirrel friend of his about how that's fun to do, so he had to try it out himself. So yeah, Kaylin, you open your box and you see a collection of 2 different items. One is a sort of a stack of papers with these hastily written notes by a much younger Kaylin about all of the shadow puppet stories she could remember, because those were the same stories she told Via, and you have like all these notes about how young Kaylin didn't want to forget the stories that were told to her in the Serpent's Grove, because one, she didn't want to forget something that was reminded her of home, but she wanted to be able to tell Via all of the stories she could from the Serpent's Grove, to be able to share all those moments. So there's probably 30 stories here written down hastily as Kaylin is rapidly trying to get them all down before they escaped her mind. And you do see here actually that Kaylin wrote most of these in one batch, but then there's a couple of sheets of paper at the end. As Kaylin told more than half of them, her and Via started to brainstorm about more stories that could be told inspired by the Serpent's Grove. So there's a couple of ideas that Via wrote down here as well. And the other thing is a gift from Edwin, actually, that you remember he got you for your birthday.
a very small, unusual stone, but very unique. Something that Kaylin really did enjoy when she got it. It was her birthday that Edwin was the only one of her siblings that was there. And you kind of hold that stone and you look at the stacks of stories and what's going through Kaylin's mind.
I think as she's looking at the stories first, she kind of reads a few out loud to Samson and just laughing to herself at how silly some of the ones her and Via wrote were in comparison to the strong morals of the ones from the Serpent Grove.
Yeah.
But to them at the time, they were teaching a valuable lesson. And she looks at the stone, just kind of like squeezing it in her hand. I think she just feels it's kind of this weird sad of forgiving Edwin in a way that she didn't think she would before, now that she knows what she knows.
Yeah. Of course. Okay. So, all of you, or not all of you, but Kaylin, you kind of fiddle with those 2 items, and you can't help but feel all those feelings as you kind of sit on the bed, and Samson runs up your leg onto the bed also, and kind of lays his head on your lap. So you're just kind of chewing on an acorn that he found as you're reading him some of those stories. And then we let's roll. We go to Edwin. So Edwin, as you enter your room, what does it look like? Edwin would have been the person who spent the most time in Skyhaven, actually, considering that. Oh man, Edwin was, let's see, Edwin was 11 when he ended up moving to Dragon's End. So the first 11 years, or the first 10 years that he was here, he lived in this room.
Well, he would have come back before, right? I mean,
oh, for sure,
probably would have. Yeah.
Yeah, you would have stayed here frequently when you would come.
So I thought about this. The last time Edwin was here was when he was 21 years old, when he was about to leave for his first mission. Because he would have taken a ship here and then gotten here, and he would have come to his room and grabbed as much stuff as he possibly could that he thought would be helpful in his journey into the Nornathi. So as Edwin gets ready to go in the room, he actually remembers kind of what it did look like, and it was disheveled. Like, he didn't pick up anything because he was trying to do it quickly and get out. So I think as he opens the door, it's almost like bare. Like, it's been picked up and it's been cleaned, so there's not papers and probably like books of healing spells and like really old like notes of him trying to figure out how to be a cleric, and it's just, there's a bed and a table with a small stack of papers and basically nothing else. Because he took everything.
Yeah.
He's very happy to see it not disheveled though.
Yeah. So Edwin, as you step in relieved, you move to the bed and you find the items in that box. First one is a memory that you actually dove deeper into very recently, back in the Manor of the King's Hand, as you find a leather poetry journal. One of your earlier editions, when you and Xanthi were both quite a bit younger, where, same as Via did to her in her, martial instruction manuals, Xanthi did the same to you, drawing little knights and flowers alongside the verses of poetry that Edwin wrote. But one of the coolest things about this is you can see that Xanthi's skills as an artist got better as time went on. The flowers and knights grew more detailed and even started to add bits of color. those messy scribbles to these really detailed illustrations. And, the other thing you find is a carved wooden truffle knife. It has both yours and Merrick's initials on it, and both of you would use this same knife during your camping trips whenever, Edwin, you'd return home. It's slightly worn from use, but it shows how many of these little expeditions you went on, and how much time the two of you used to spend together when Edwin was home, at least. So as Edwin's kind of looking at these items, what's going through his head?
As he looks through the poetry book, he does say out loud, "Wow, I really need to show Xanthi this. Why doesn't she draw anymore? Does she? Need to ask her. She was so cute. What happened?" And he just puts... And then he pulls out the other item and then immediately just starts looking and staring at it and gets sad. And he's thinking of the conversation Merrick and him had not even a day ago. And he like grips the knife really, really tight.
Yeah.
And he just kind of sits there.
Yeah. Okay. So all of you take a moment in your rooms by yourself. These were your rooms as children. This is not the accommodations that you'll be staying in now. There are accommodations for adults that are fully fitted rooms that have been cleaned and maintained and kept up to a standard that the princes and princesses of the realm should be staying in. But as you enter these rooms, the task given to you by Lady Marianne was to retrieve the items you want to and leave behind the ones that you're okay with being thrown away. So as everyone goes to step out of their rooms, is anyone leaving anything behind? Something they'd prefer to leave in the past? Or is everybody taking all their items with them?
Taking all mine. I'm taking all mine.
All mine.
Keep.
Okay. All right. So everybody keeps all of them, and all of you take just several moments in your room to go through all the small books and items, and really have these vivid memories of your childhood. And there are some bad ones in there, but there's also good ones. And some of the items that you look at, you can't help but remember the silly times that you and your siblings used to have as kids. As rare as they were, they did exist. However, before all of you can reconvene in that sort of main foyer where the skyward window is, Edwin, you hear a knock at your door.
Puts the dagger into his pouch. I'll be right there. Gets up. The person who's at the door can probably hear him walking across the room because there's nothing in there, so it kind of echoes. Opens the door.
See Merrick.
Oh. Hello.
Can I come in?
He opens and kind of moves out of the way. I mean, there's not a lot of places to sit, but yeah.
I can stand.
He kind of gestures in.
He'll move over and he'll find a nice part of
chair.
a wall to lean against. It's kind of smooth. Yeah, we'll go with that one. How exactly did you meet her?
Well, I was on a mission with the temple, the clerics, near one of the villages. And we got attacked by a rather large polar bear. Dire, some would say. bunch of the clerics got injured. We had to fall back, and riding on this leopard was her and a couple of her companions. And she leapt off the leopard and onto the back of the bear, and I would say it was a horrific sight, but I was so just interested that I forgot what was going on and just stared at her, and I realized looking back that it was a little weird. But her and her companions showed this strength and took down the bear. And afterwards, we went back to the village. We discussed, we talked, we went to a local tavern that is custom to drink after a victory, and we got absolutely wasted. And we talked for hours and hours. I don't remember the whole conversation because there was a lot of alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember the day.
When did you realize you loved her?
It sounds cliche, but the saying love at first sight, I was awestruck. When I saw her, nothing else mattered.
Was it the leopard? And you can tell he's teasing.
The leopard was pretty cool.
It sounds cool. Is that a common thing up there?
To warriors, yes. I mean, we have horses here.
Fascinating.
I don't know if they're actually called snow leopards. It's a type of leopard. They've bred it to, be able to ride.
Oh, I meant these are big leopards, right?
Oh, yes.
Sounds nice.
Was. And I'll never forget it.
Merrick reaches into into one of his pockets and he pulls out a letter. I don't know how to help you, Edwin. You told us before anyone else. And not under great circumstances. I wish I was as strong as Uncle or Father. I wish I could tell you that whatever they threw at us to stop us from helping them, I could take care of it. But I'm not that strong.
Edwin gets up and walks over to Merrick and places both of his hands on his shoulders and says, "You are so strong, Merrick. Strength is not in brute force and muscles and proving yourself on the battle or even... Merrick, you have been through so much. You have been tested and tried your entire life, and you have always come out on top. Always. You are so strong."
He holds the letter out for Edwin to take.
looks down at it. What is this?
It's the only way I know how to help.
Is it
And
sealed?
you see, it is not sealed.
Okay.
But you see the moment you look at the front, it is addressed to Sharn Veltaris of Kraken's Reach. Inside the letter, should you choose to read it, it's nothing hidden, no hidden messages. It's basically Merrick just requesting that his mother find a way to contact him, come to Skyhaven if possible, preferably.
I'm a little confused.
We don't know what the Spy Master's planning. But he is the Spy Master, like you said. Even if we got him alone, killed him, somehow found a way to do it without anyone knowing it was us. Like you said, he probably has contingencies, or the church does, or both. I appreciate what you said, but we need to be prepared that if this turns violent, your wife and daughter are safe. And if they need to cross the water to get here, I promise you there is no one you'd rather watching over them than Veltaris soldiers.
I appreciate it. No, this is... Thank you. It's a great idea.
I can't even promise she'll help, but I just don't know if the 5 of us will be enough. And it's not my decision to make, but if you love her the way you spoke of her, of them, sorry, it's too great a risk. But it's up to you. You can send that letter, tear it, burn it. It's your call. But this is the most that I can do to help you. Other than just
Edwin,
being there.
Edwin reading over the note. Does it mention Edwin's wife and child?
No.
It doesn't, okay.
It's very vague. It is just Merrick requesting that his mother find a way to either contact him or preferably come to Skyhaven directly and meet with us.
Okay. Right.
Yeah.
I'll,
No mention of Nornathi, no mention of, hey, keep this on the down low. It's a very casual letter by design.
Yeah. I think I need to think on it.
Of course.
Maybe we should, would you be willing to meet with the others and get their opinions?
Of course. I just wanted to present it to you first.
And I appreciate it. I truly do.
Whatever you decide, even if somehow all 4 of us are against you, you have to make this decision. Because to be Grim, you're the one with everything to lose. So regardless of what any of them say, whatever I say, do what you need to do.
That's why making a decision has been so hard.
when we became the King's Hand. When you entered into that council chamber. I think right after hello, I told you that I was engaged. I just wanted you to know, you know? So, learning what was going on with you the way that I didn't take it well. I'm happy for you, brother, that you found a life to call your own. I just wanted to be a part of it.
Do not worry. There's so much time for you to be a part of it. I'm so sorry that I kept this secret for so long. My indecision, my fears, my anxieties, all of that kept me from saying, from letting all of you into their lives. And I know I cannot give you back that time, but there's still so much time ahead of us. And I hope when they are here and safe, you can just see how great they really are. And they can meet, Freya can meet her uncle.
I hope you know whatever she loves, even if you don't approve of it, I'm going to get her as much as she wants. Candy, anything.
Well, no, not candy, maybe not. It's
No, then I have to be the favorite uncle.
it's very bad for their teeth. I don't think you should.
You're a cleric, you can take care of that.
Uh,
Taps him on the shoulder.
Under his breath, there's no teeth for generating spells.
You make one.
Well,
Can't be that hard.
I do want to apologize for the other night.
I just wasn't ready, I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry. I said a lot of hurtful things, and I just haven't been myself.
I had to. I was just a kid when my mom and dad, you know. I just hate that father put us in the middle of it because I just feel like I'm living through it all over again.
This time you're not living through it alone. Now, while we're here, and he pulls out the knife, we need to at least try to go truffle hunting one time.
Well, only, and he'll open the map. If you let me lead this time.
Of course. You're faster than me anyways. My knees are bad.
I was going to wake up early tomorrow and climb down the stairs. If you could want to join.
Ooh. Yes.
You don't want to, do you?
No, don't worry. I'll be awake. Walking down the stairs. Let's see if Via can levitate me down. She said something about some sort of spell that can...
You don't. She only sends you up.
It just goes up.
Straight.
There's not a down.
Well, there's a down.
Oh, perfect. We'll use that one.
No, that's not what I mean. Don't worry about it.
All right.
Well,
I think when we have time, I know it's getting late, but maybe tomorrow when we're all looking over the plans and things that Xanthi has planned for everything, after that conversation I can bring up the letter. We also have to draft the letter to the High King of Nornothi. So, lot to do.
no time to waste, but like I said, sleep on it if in the morning you don't even think it's worth considering. I won't be offended. It's, like I said, it's just the most I can do right now.
No, I appreciate it.
I'm gonna go try and get some sleep, I think.
Yes. Good night, Merrick.
Good night, brother.
Alrighty. So with that, the two of you leave the room, back out into the central foyer, the skyward window, and you can see that about that time, about everybody is starting to exit, and all of you kind of make eye contact in that moment as all of you are holding different items found in the rooms. I will say, however, as all of you are exiting and getting ready to head to bed, you see leaned up against the wall closest to the window, there seems to be 4 rather large oil paintings that are kind of the fronts of them aren't facing you guys. They're kind of like leaned up against the wall, so the paintings themselves are facing the wall.
Well, you know we're nosy.
What do you mean?
Yeah, turn that shit around immediately.
Turn that shit around.
Okay.
Yeah, we have a jingle for it and everything.
So, the first one that that you sort of pull back and look at is the oldest one. This one is pretty easy to tell. It's from the year 1079, and it is an oil painting of 5 members of House Falkrest. Talon Falkrest is in the middle as king. To his right is Rainier. And then to his left is his eldest son, Edwin, at that point only 21. His young daughter, Xanthi, who is 9. And Talon is holding this incredibly small baby that has this, at this point, what is more of a lighter complexion than what he has now, and that sort of deeper color he settled into. But you see him holding a very tiny baby Merrick with those 2 little tusks sticking out, swaddled in the colors of House Falkrest.
Look, a little baby berry.
Just neon green.
Wait, where's
so
the picture at?
I don't have one. I tried to generate it,
Oh,
but it was.
boo!
I know. I'm
I
sorry.
was jumping-
Put
what
from
was I supposed to be
mine,
looking at?
Taylor. Ever
I'm
heard of
sorry,
it?
Felicity had such a visceral reaction. I thought you showed a picture.
Felicity
Felicity's
her
the
mind.
No, sorry, I
Yeah,
was
like-
acting. My bad.
It was so good, and I was like,
Well,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
got
like-
Kayla.
You
Yeah.
teach this shit and you can't recognize it? SMH.
No, it was so good.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
Oh, that's really. I mean, I was hype. It's cute as fuck. Okay, sorry. I thought you were about to whip something out. I was like, what the fuck? Where'd you come up with these? Continue.
I
Beautiful.
wish. I tried. I will, after the stream is over,
No,
I'll,
no,
sh-
no, no,
I'll,
no,
I'll
that's-
share the
that's
one
a
that
lot.
I
You're-
tried.
Oh
LOL.
boy.
Anyway, so you see the first one there. Any more comments?
Guess not.
Yeah.
Nope. Okay. All right. Okay.
I think it's sweet. Okay, sorry. I realized I was in character. I just need to never speak again.
No,
Oh,
don't.
it's all good. Such a compliment.
that'll
I'm just
solve
so
it.
believable.
Acting.
So you pull back the next one, and that one actually does not have Edwin in it, as this one is from the year 1087. Talon is 59, Rainier is 79, Edwin is not present, Xanthi is 17. You can see the change over the over the years. She now stands very tall, very proud, very regal. Kaylin is in this one at the age of 11, having just arrived in the city of Crown's Rest months before. And Kaylin, you can kind of see that on your face, deer in headlights, just shocked. Merrick, you are 8. You can see standing about as tall and as proud as he can. Merrick feels as tall as Xanthi in that moment, but he's, at her waist. And little Octavia is 3 years old, as she is just sort of like in this big, poofy, yellow and green dress, just adorable.
You look like a cupcake.
I hope in like a good way.
Sure, Wisp.
Okay, thanks, guys. I complimented
Good
Merrick,
enough.
but it's it's fine.
Cute
No,
way.
no, it's fine.
No, I think it's. I mean, at least you don't look afraid of the entire world in front of you.
It's all right. You were in a
going
totally
through
new
your mind,
place.
Kaylin?
I have never seen so many people in one spot before. There were more people than trees, and I think that was a shock for me.
Well, do you enjoy it now at least?
Do I enjoy people more than trees?
Well, do you enjoy being with us now?
Sometimes I do.
We'll work on that.
But you
I
do
think you
like
should
people more than trees, right?
Sometimes
the
I
answer
do.
is no.
Yeah, I was not expecting that to even be a sometime.
Sometimes I do.
It's like a 10-90%.
Have you ever spoken to a tree?
No.
You should try it.
Well, that's why I said 10% people, 90% trees for you.
What's this last one? This kid's gonna flip it around.
Yeah, so the last one is one of the last times all of you were in Skyhaven, and still young enough for most of you to be staying in these rooms. And this was in the year 1091. So in 1091, Talon was 63, Rainier was 83, Edwin was 33, Xanthi was 21, Kaylin was 15, Merrick was 12, and Octavia was 7. It's kind of interesting, as long as all of you have, been alive, your dad has always looked the same. He's always looked he's always looked the same. He's always had the same amount of gray hair for as long as you can remember, the same amount of black hair, the same wrinkles, the same everything, as far as you could tell. But maybe it's just the way the paintings are capturing him. But in these paintings, you can really, really, really see him get so much older. Not in his facial features, not in the wrinkles, not in the gray hairs, but in what the artist captures in Talon's eyes. Not the wrinkles around them, but the eyes themselves look old. And in 1091, they looked tired. Like a man who just wanted to sleep. But you see he's smiling. This big, huge smile on his face as he holds his kids next to him, as his brother stands behind him. Most kings, they care so much about the crown and the power they can wield, but in this one painting right here, you can see that the only thing Talon cares about is the kids that he holds beside him. As even in the painting, you can see how tightly he's squeezing all of you. And you kind of set the paintings back down has, this isn't the most recent one that was done. The most recent painting that was done a few years ago, but you all didn't gather together. You had portraits done in your respective places that you were at, and you had them sent to an artist who pretty much repainted those paintings as one
You
whole-
photoshopped it.
yeah, photoshopped manually. And because all of you were too busy, you couldn't make your way back, but you needed something that was updated. The last one that had been done, Via was 7 and she's now an adult, you know? So that one that had most recently been done was done just a year ago. And that's the one that's currently up in the Great Hall to show the current Falkrest family. But having this little slice of time is nice. To see a simpler time. A much, much, much simpler time. So, as all of you look to the paintings, you look to each other. Does anybody say anything before all of you head off to your respective rooms and head to bed?
We should get an updated one. Now that we're the king's hand.
I was thinking the same thing.
Me as well.
Do you think we're the reason why he looks so asleep?
I think we contributed to it.
I don't know. I imagine being the ruler of any place would take it out of you.
That's why I said contribute, not the whole thing. We just added on.
Well, see, I think, like, we keep him going.
I like
does
that
look-
thought.
He does look very happy in that painting.
We should definitely ask Dad what he does to take care of his skin, though.
It's gotta be magic, right?
But he's got to have a little bit of fae in him, is what I'm thinking. Because how, as a
Really?
human, is he,
Fae?
aging so gracefully?
I don't think that even as his children, it's appropriate for us to be speculating about this.
If
What
he
do you
did,
mean?
I wish he would have given me some. I mean, look at my crow's feet.
Yeah, you could use some help.
Hey, you're not supposed to actually.
Yeah, I mean, I
Agree
wasn't
with
gonna
you.
say it, but
All right, I thought we
You're
were
the one
all
that put out
agreeing
the
to be
fire.
honest with each other. Gosh.
To a certain point, it's just mean.
oh, she got you.
Well, you wear them well.
Oh, thank you.
Of course.
See, honest to an extent.
All right. So, with that, doing a little bit of a chiding back and forth, you gather the rest of your things and you head off to your rooms to sleep. And as you move back, you end up passing through the Nightwing corridor, which is a long corridor, high ceilings with these graceful arches and these tall windows of colored glass line each side. And they cast these silver and blue patterns across the stone floor when moonlight, which is what's shining through now, strikes them at particular angles. Between each window, there stands a bust of a former sentinel. Their sort of stern faces watching over the passageway. And then there are these iron sconces that are shaped like falcon wings that hold enchanted flames that never fully extinguish. This is the same corridor that Rainier, just Rainier, stayed in all that time ago. Same corridor that he heard those screams that haunted him ever since. But that was the past. It doesn't matter anymore. You push it down. You head to your rooms. You head to sleep.
And I believe... Oh, you got 20 minutes. Okay, cool. That's what I was looking at the time and I was like, okay, cool. Wow.
20 minutes.
Yeah, not Xanthi. Gemma will have to depart just a little bit early from the session. Yeah. However, as all of you head to sleep, it's not necessarily as peaceful as you maybe would have wanted. So, clicked the wrong one. That's my bad. I'll be honest with you.
Oh shit.
That's
I
on
was
me.
like, wow.
It was supposed to, I think it's this one. So, Via, you head to sleep. And you sort of lull yourself into that realm. And there's this strange thing that happens, this shifting. It feels so unnatural to you in that moment. As most of the time, whenever you would peer into the future, it's something that happens in an instant, and it's something that almost seems to attack you. This is something different. It's a premonition, a vision, I guess. But very different. You see yourself, right? Sort of this outer body experience as you're walking down this unfamiliar corridor. That same flash you had in your head earlier in the day. You place your hand on these stones carved to resemble falcons. And you walk down this corridor. You can see a passageway, a doorway currently shut, with a symbol of a sprawling tree on it. The more you walk, the further away you are from it. And you walk, you run, you sprint as fast as you can, but it just gets further and further away until eventually it is this blip in front of you. And you see you and all your siblings walking down the corridor. And you see a snake following all of you, or no, a snake carved into the stone following all of you. Very strange. And the last thing you hear before you wake up is a phrase. The blood remembers what the mind forgets. And with that, it's not violent, but you wake up that next morning. Bright and early, at around 6, 7 a.m. No nosebleed, no headache. But it felt so real, that dream that you experienced.
I think as she's like thinking about it, just kind of like reflecting, she would actually get up and head right to Kaylin's room and knock on the door.
Kaylin,
Answer it.
as you begin to sort of stand and move towards the door, you see something in the corner of your eye. Kind of halfway tucked behind your bookshelf. You hadn't noticed it before.
when you came in last night. Maybe you were tired. You don't know. But you see a very similar stone carving on the wall that you've seen before in Crown's Rest. That of a snake. You are very confident that you did not see that last night. It was not there last night, but you were tired. You don't know.
Do I hear the knock at the door?
You do, yeah.
She's gonna look at the wall and look at the door. And like not taking her eye off the wall as if it's gonna suddenly jump off. She's gonna open the door.
Hi, Kaylin. Is now an okay time? I want to talk to you about something.
Yes, come in. Do you see that
Do I,
on the wall?
Joe? How do I feel seeing that? Because that was in my dream, right?
Octavia, as you look at the wall, you don't really see anything. There's a strange crack in it where Kaylin's pointing that's kind of, I guess, shaped in kind of like a very loose S pattern, but it just looks like a crack in the stone.
The crack in the wall?
What? No, it's not a. She like narrows her eyes. It's not a crack. It's a snake. You don't see the shape? Kaylin's gonna walk over and like touch it.
No, I don't see a snake. That looks like a crack in the stone. But I had a dream about a snake in a wall, and she will relay the dream to Kaylin. But I don't see anything right now.
Can Kaylin like push on it? Does it do anything?
These are the same ones that you've seen in Crown's Rest.
Right.
Yeah.
Which she knows how they work.
So you're
Does it do
okay.
the
So,
same
sorry,
thing?
that's what I wanted to. So you're doing that the
Yeah.
same way that you've done the other ones. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, Kaylin, as you move towards it, you kind of trace your finger along the snake, and you whisper a few words in not just Elvis, but that sort of older Zakari tongue. And you hear this sort of whispering hiss back. Via, you do hear the whispering hiss. And then, Kaylin, you see the stone not loudly, but just kind of like coil back and forth to reveal a passageway.
Do I see that?
You see the passageway, Via.
That that I just did was both Felicity and Via, just so everyone knows.
Good.
Okay, this is new. Sort of.
Yeah.
Okay, wait. V, I'm gonna tell you something. At the keep, there are lots of passageways just like this that have a snake symbol on them. And I've always been able to open them like this. That's how I get outside so easily. That's how I move around the keep so quickly. But these have never been here before. They've only ever been in Crown's Rest.
Well, I've never seen any snake designs. Right, Joe? Like, I've never seen...
Nope.
Okay, I was like, wait, let me double check. I've never seen any snake designs here or at home. And you could see the one here, but I clearly couldn't. And we were looking at the same thing.
But this wasn't here before. That's the thing, the ones at Crown's Rest have always been there. Ever since I arrived, I've always been able to see them. But there's never been anything here until right now. What does your dream mean?
I don't know what my dream meant. I've never had a dream like that before. And also, I woke up feeling fine. Most of the time, actually, all the time lately, if I have any sort of visions, I get a pain in my head and my nose and ears bleed sometimes, just depending on how intense it is. But
Not
I
this
feel
one?
fine. No, not at all.
Kaylin's gonna like touch her face, just kind of like gingerly, just trying to make sure she's not bleeding from anywhere.
Nope.
Okay. She looks back down the dark hallway. We should get everyone, right?
Yes, but let's, like, take a little peek, and she'll cast light, just to see what's going on. How dark, how crazy is it going on down there, Joe? What are we seeing?
Via, as you conjure the light spell in your hand and you go to like move forward, the light spell doesn't extend past the threshold of the passageway.
Okay. If she pokes her head in, does it seem like there's like a doorway, like a portal or something? Or is it like...
It's really strange because when you were looking at it, it seemed like the passageway got incredibly dark. But as you stick your head through the threshold, it's almost as if you can see through that darkness. It's very strange. Only when you step into it, though.
Is that how the ones at Crown's Rest operate?
No.
Oh.
Okay, yeah, Via
this-
will explain that to Kaylin.
Yeah, this is very different. This is not what I know. I don't know what this is.
Well, if you keep an eye on it, I can go get everybody. I just don't want it to, like, disappear. But you kind of have, like, the special touch to open this.
I'll stand here and I will watch it. Just go get everyone quickly.
Okay. And she will hurry and knock on everyone's doors, and she'll go, "Come to Kaylin's room, right now!"
And we do.
Okay.
Yes, all of you are like some of you are like just waking up, you know? Yeah, so all of you do,
Wait, what
Like-
time of day is this right now?
it's like 7 a.m.
Okay.
bright and
Orally.
early in the morning.
Edwin is in his pajamas, obviously drinking from his mug of coffee on his way to Kaylin's room.
As everyone comes in, she quickly shuts the door behind them.
And Via's, like, explaining, like, really quickly in, like, one breath, and then she goes, "So, are we ready to go in?"
I'm cautious to go through random doorways that just appear out of nowhere.
I honestly agree. This seems incredibly stupid. Surely we should at least let Lady Marianne know.
I will say.
May have. She have more information on this. She's been in. Well, she's been here longer than all of us have, at least for recently.
We're the House of Adventure. Come on, guys. This is so neat. I gotta see what's behind here.
All right, that is a good point. We are the House of Adventure.
All of the ones that I've ever gone through before have led to a different part of the keep or simply outside. It's never led me to a place of danger or it's just passageways.
Oh,
And how
But-
many have you been through?
I've been through all of them.
roughly like a number.
Joe?
Kaylin is 26, 27, right?
Yeah.
Okay. She's probably been through 200 passageways in Dragon's End.
Oh.
But I've always been able. This is a joke question, but I've always like they've just been passageways. They've never been like this portal
Correct.
vibe, weird. Yeah. And Kaylin will explain that. This is very different. So before anyone casts any judgment, I don't know what this is exactly. I just know that at face value it was similar, but this is not the same. But I am tempted and curious to know. Right, there's a reason why we're all standing here. There's a reason why we're the only ones who know that this is here. This was not here when I went to bed. So I doubt Marion knows anything.
Bye, Gemma.
No.
No.
Wait, Xanthi, don't go.
No. I'm in agreement with Xanthi, though, especially if you're saying that this didn't appear until this morning. There's something weird going on, and the five of us shouldn't go in alone without saying anything to anyone at the very least.
Hold on 1 second. Just before we do anything rash or discuss further, give me 1 second. And Edwin leaves the room. And then he comes back with his staff. All right. And he's going to put the tip of the staff into the doorway.
Okay.
Does anything happen?
Boom! No.
Nope, nothing happens.
He removes the staff. Is it still in one piece?
It is, yeah.
I already put my head in there.
Via did.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm
forget things
going.
very-
This is too good. We gotta go.
Via, but like,
There's clearly magic going on here, Edwin. I need to know what's going on.
but what if it's bad magic?
I don't think it's bad. I don't think. I opened this.
Oh, right.
What? You think our family's hiding some deep, dark secret or something?
Yes.
Oh, come on. It's our family.
And our family has a very interesting past.
Let's go.
Edwin is right about that. Fine. If we're going to do this, I'm taking point, though.
Okay, fair, but I'm gonna be right
Agreed.
behind you.
I just want it to be on the record that I think that this is an incredibly stupid idea.
All right,
I
Xanthi.
want-
Sounds good. Come on in.
I think you should also probably take point.
She just mean mugs you and moves to take point. I know how to do battle strategy, Edwin. She didn't say that. That's what her face says, though.
Wait 1 second.
Eric's got that dark vision, you know?
Edwin is going to go up to Xanthi and say, "Oh, 1 second." He's going to cast light on her trident. All right. And
Kaylin's going to, with like whatever pieces of parchment and charcoal she can find, she's gonna write a quick letter. In case things go wrong, we walked through a doorway.
Oh wait, hold
Dear
on.
Miriam.
Hold on,
good.
hold
That'll
on,
clear
hold
it up.
Hold on. Before we go in here, hold on. I just read the chat. It was a good. They made a good point.
No, wait, no, stop.
We're gonna walk in here without our armor.
I'm dressed for the day. I wear leathers.
I don't
Yeah,
wear armor.
We just all got woken up.
I don't wear armor.
Kaylin's
You
gonna
already said
put
you were
her
awake.
shit on, baby. It's go time.
All right,
Light
Edwin
armor
says,
only
1
does
second.
take. It only takes 1 minute to don light armor. So
Yeah.
Oh well, must be so nice. Edwin will be right back. As
It's
he puts on-
awesome.
Give me 5
D&D
minutes.
doesn't like strength users.
But
I'll
yeah.
cast mage armor on myself. Boop, boop, ba-doop,
You
doop.
just hear chains moving in the other.
Kaylen will write a
Edwin.
note to Miriam though. That way,
Okay.
there is a paper trail of what is happening.
Just in case you guys are never heard or seen again, that at least they'll know you went into a passageway.
She has a letter absolving her of all responsibility. It will not look suspicious in the slightest that the heirs all went missing under her watch. Complete coincidence.
God, imagine that. That would be
She was
worst,
beheaded later.
worst
I
day
just
at
want
work ever.
I just want to point out that Edwin as the character would definitely not go in here for fear of dying and leaving his family behind. But this is a passageway put in front of us as D&D players. So Edwin's going in.
We are also your family. Counterpoint.
Via's
That is
going
true.
in regardless. She is too curious.
Okay.
Merrick goes in.
All right.
We all jump in. We front flip into.
Caleb's really hoping this doesn't come back to bite her in the ass. She's like, yeah, I opened it up. It should be fine.
Why did the music change?
All the others have just been passages that led outside. What's the worst that could be in here?
You know,
More
the
dragon eggs.
rooms in the house. Oh, Jesus.
More
Christ.
dragon eggs.
Just one big ass snake. It's the Chamber of Secrets.
There's a blue one, a white one,
I
and
said that. I
a
said
gold
this in
one.
Chat. Kaylin's can fucking open up snake passageways. She's getting through the castle. She's the basilisk from Harry Potter. Like that's okay. They
Okay.
used the
She's
pipe
the heir
moving
of
around.
Slytherin.
Slytherin's heir.
That's me, baby.
Heir of Slytherin, beware, or however this saying goes.
Enemies of the air, beware.
Oh, that was it. Yeah.
All of you
I'll
make
take
your
my
way
inspiration now.
into.
Give that to you. I'm giving Ryan inspiration.
Thanks, Felicity.
You're welcome.
Wait a minute.
Don't know how good it'll be.
That's not how that works.
That's true.
So all of you make your way in. And you begin to walk down this ancient corridor. The stone here is old. Old stone, but the carvings are new. Falcons that rest atop mountains. And you walk down this corridor, down and down and down, until eventually you see a doorway, sealed shut. It looks as almost it is a stone that almost seamlessly mends into the threshold. On top there is, or carved onto it is this large mountain peak, and there is a tree that exists on top of the mountain. Not alluding to a tree being inside the mountain, but a tree on top of that mountain.
Kayla asked a really good question. Does this match the dream?
Yeah, the pathway that you are walking right now matches the dream.
Okay, yeah, Via's gonna say that.
How did your dream end again?
I think I just woke up because the door got really far away. There was a snake carving.
But you said that this dream didn't give you pain.
No, not at all.
Merrick heads for the door. Oh, never mind. What?
Yeah, Via might cross in front of Merrick and start to walk to the door. And she'll want to put her hand on it if she can reach it, unless it starts doing the thing in the dream.
Nope. You place your hand on it, and the wall doesn't seem to respond at all. It is carved into the stone, this tree in this mountain. You can feel the edges, and you can feel that it's very smooth. Whoever did the work was very skilled.
But she doesn't get a vision or anything from it.
Nope. In
Okay.
fact, it
Is
is
it-
oddly quiet to Via. Most things have some type of resonance to them, but this is nothing.
Is this a sealed door? Or is it
Mhm.
something that we can just open?
No, it's sealed, yeah.
Can Caitlin try touching it?
Yeah, Kaylin, you try and touch it. Same thing as Via, nothing happens.
What's carved on this? Just a mountain.
It is a mountain with a tree on top of it.
What kind of tree?
Big oak tree.
I don't know. Something particular. Okay.
Is there anything about the symbolism that seems familiar? Does it invoke anything?
Merrick, as you're kind of looking at it, you've made the journey to Skyhaven quite a few times, about as many as Edwin. And so I'd say that you and Edwin both would kind of have a moment of recognition where it looks a lot like the mountain peak that Skyhaven is built on top of.
Joe, can you repeat what Bjorn said to
Hmm.
Kaylin?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait.
When a gauntlet of steel and expectation falls upon a bed of roses, make haste to the Falcon's mountain throne. The shadows grow long where royal blood runs thin. My daughter walks among them, yet not knows the darkness that stalks her steps. An ancient guardian stirs from slumber as tides of crimson rise once more.
Via's gonna remember the phrase that from her dream, the blood remembers what the mind forgets, and she'll like ask one of her siblings for a sharp object. Like a dagger or a xanthe or trident, something.
Merrick pulls out a dagger and just hands it to her.
She's going to actually cut open the same spot that she did her blood ritual back in school, and kind of squeeze her hand so that the blood kind of fills in her hand, and kind of rub it on the door and see if there's any response from that.
Yeah, but yeah, as you do, the blood doesn't drip off your hand onto the ground. It stays on the wall, and it moves into that tree. And you can see that it moves to the very top, one of the furthest up branches, one of the thinnest branches, and will then trace itself all the way down to the stump and deep into the roots. And you hear stone grinding, and the door slowly begins to open. And here you see a circular chamber. Probably, 40 to 60 feet in diameter with a domed ceiling. You can see there are quite a few alcoves, or these recesses that go deep into the wall, but there are 8 main ones in the room that you enter now, with some hallways going further down and deeper into the mountain. There is this sort of self-sustaining, like, globes of light in here, as well as this aura of magic. And this place is not dusty at all. It is pristine, clean. There are walls covered with markings, in the common tongue talking about enemies of House Falkrest, and talking about what is in some of those alcoves. Very vague, and in almost a coded language that's hard to understand to your eyes as you're looking through it. But that is not what catches your attention the most. In the very center of this room, sort of levitating almost in this stasis, looks to be this construct of some kind, currently dormant, as the door opens and all of you sit behind the threshold looking in. You can see that construct levitating, but dormant, not moving.
Can Edwin, just kind of peering into the room, look for, best way to put it, look for traps. Look for anything that could be set off if we go into the room, anything that could make that construct turn on.
Yeah, you
Anything?
sort of begin to peek in as much as you can without crossing the threshold. Make an investigation check.
I was hoping for perception. Well, this ain't gonna be good, guys. Nope.
Yeah, Edwin, as you peer through it without going past the threshold, there's not much that you see.
He's human.
What does the construct look like? Is it something recognizable? Is it like...
The construct is very strange looking as you sort of look more at it. It is humanoid in body, but it's almost made of this like silvery white metal that seems to shift and flow, kind of like how Mercury does. Its surface is inscribed with these kind of like faint glowing runes, and it just sits perfectly still. Its face is featureless. Nothing at all as you look at it. It is just this like sheet of metal that is their face, and you can see also that they are wearing like robes almost, in the colors of House Falkrest, that sort of green and brown and gray. And I will say you can see that same family tree, but much larger, is at the very center of that vault. And I'll go ahead and move you here.
Whatever this is, I don't like it.
I mean, constructs are just meant to protect knowledge, often. That's what was in Morgana's private library. So as long as we don't do anything to provoke it, it should be fine.
Right, but that's Morgana's. What happens when we walk through that door and it's alerted?
Well, it's here to protect House Falkrest, right? And all of us are.
I'm gonna step in.
No, hold on. Let's think about this first.
Okay. Go on. We're all listening.
This was supposed to be a collective think bubble.
I want to walk in there with Merrick.
Huh.
I want to know what this is.
Oh.
Oh, let's go! Pushes
I'm
in
really
Merrick.
glad we talked about this. Merrick will step forward.
Okay.
But he's taking like one step into the room.
Okay. And everybody's moving into the room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good thing I left a note.
Can I say I'm stealthily entering the room?
No, we all went with.
Shit. You
And
half-plate.
Edwin can't be something.
You roll 2 nat 20s. Joe did
As
it.
as all of you step into the room together, there's this moment of silence as all of you kind of stop, as all of you cross the threshold and you're all there. And you exhale for a moment, thinking that whatever securities were here are no longer present. And then that is when you see on the face of that creature this sort of golden ring illuminate. The singular, perfect golden ring illuminates on this construct's face. And as it begins to glow, the door behind all of you shuts.
It's like a boss battle.
And you hear it speak. Intruder alert. Vault security compromised. Initiating defense protocol alpha. And you can see at that moment the construct sort of drops down from the ground, and there is this heavy as like the ground kind of underneath it on that pedestal, you can hear it almost cracks from the weight, and you can see the construct itself begins to duplicate.
where there is one version of it that splits off and another version that splits off, and you can see that growing from its like limbs it's like materializing weapons from the material that its body is made out of. You can see one forms this like giant great hammer, another one a sword and shield, and another one starts to conjure these bolts of magical energy. And all of you ready yourselves, unsure of what is currently happening. And
I just want to say that Edwin immediately goes, "Oh shit!"
Merrick
Okay.
goes, I can't believe you let us in here, Edwin.
and so with that,
Edwin just dead stared.
with that, as you stare at Merrick, you can see the creature, this construct of seemingly a pretty remarkable power begins to move towards you. And is all of you ready yourselves to fight it? That's not where we're going to end tonight's session.
1 week later, where are the Hand of the King?
But that is where we're going to end the story of the heirs tonight, as we are going to move elsewhere. We are going to move far across Adaria, far across the Dragon's Strait, and we are going to move to Faithspire. Okay. So, we move to House Emberlin's rectory. I just want to get it pulled up here. There we go. The Emberlin rectory in Faithspire, it is bathed in this warm, flickering light from the sacred flames dancing in anvil-shaped braziers. Incense, they curl through the air and they create these hazy patterns and beams of light streaming through the stained glass windows. Near the entrance, there are two priests from the Church of Unity. They converse in hushed tones, their vestments of blue, green, and white and red, rippling with each gesture. And in the center circular chamber, Lady Paramount Iridessa Emberlin kneels before the central flame. Her Leonin features illuminated by the fire, and her mane, like hair adorned with these sort of ceremonial golden rings. An older priest, standing in that far back corner, murmurs,
3 weeks now.
his weathered hands clasped before him.
Lady Iridessa has not left the rectory since the new moon. House Paramount duties go unattended while she searches for visions.
The young priest nods, adjusting his multicolored stole.
The times demand guidance. And with the king's hand now established, much hangs in the balance.
He glances towards the kneeling figure of Lady Iridessa.
Have you met them? The heirs?
Only the eldest, Edwin.
Smile crosses his face.
Divine grace flows through him, regardless of circumstances of his birth. The gods did not distinguish between bastards and trueborn. They only see the heart.
Council speaks highly of him as well. Unlike the Iron Heir.
Xanthi. Firstborn noble, yes, but her anima. Something isn't right. One of the tripariate essence is compromised. Whatever devil laid claim to her soul won't permit an unhindered rule.
The young priest makes a sort of warding gesture as if to ward off any evil energy at the mention of a devil within the rectory.
And what of the others? The fourth-born Merrick, is it?
A dismissive wave from the older priest.
Inconsequential. A political marriage, peace at best. House Veltara's blood, but without the temperament to... And at that point, his words are cut short by the braziers around Lady Iridessa suddenly flaring up. And you can see there is this hush that falls over the room as there is this sudden flare, the flames reaching towards the ceiling. Both priests turn, eyes widening. By the gods! It's happening. It's actually happening. And you can see the flames surrounding Iridessa. They shift from orange to this sickly emerald green. Her body convulses violently, her back arching unnaturally as her eyes flood with that same green light. The Leonin Lady Paramount rises from her kneeling position, suddenly suspended several inches above the floor as these cold winds whip through the chamber, extinguishing the smaller candles. When she speaks, her voice, it carries multiple tones. Her layered breath, something ancient and reptilian.
In the shadow of the waning sun, the earth
Trembles, and the sea churns. An emerald dragon shall come to this kingdom to choose the hand that wields both strength and sorrow. The fire, it coalesces around her, forming this unmistakable silhouette of draconic wings that beat slowly, casting this enormous shadow across the chamber walls. Several priests back away from her. Then one chosen by ancient blood shall command the skies to shield the weak, a scourge to the unworthy. Through fire and frost they will guide the realm to stave off a tide of ice cold as the grave and secure the throne as fate has promised. And immediately there is this thunderous uproar as Lady Iridessa falls to the ground as the vision, the prophecy concludes. This man yells at the top of his lungs, "Heresy!" as his voice booms throughout the chamber. High Solar champion Derek Marathis. His hulking form steps forward as the pieces of scripture attached to his armor trembling with rage. "Blasphemy! This is no proper prophecy!" His gnarled finger points accusingly at the still suspended form of Iridessa as it's like sort of undulating back and forth as it seems as though the magic isn't done with her yet. "What of the prophecy of the dawn of unity?" he demands, his voice cracking with emotion. "Dragons are a scourge that nearly destroyed this realm. This is sacrilege!" The chamber erupts into chaos, priests shouting over one another, some falling to their knees in prayers, others backing away towards the exit. "Dark magic!" one cries. "She's been corrupted!" yells another. Iridessa collapses onto the ground, the emerald green light fading from her eyes. Two royal attendants rush to her side as she struggles to sit upright. "Record it," she commands, her voice weak but determined. "Send word to Davian, Thalin in Crown's Rest." Her clawed hands grasp the attendant's arm with this surprising strength. "The signs are clear. The time of ice approaches." "This will not stand!" As the High Lord Solar seethes, gesturing towards his champions. "Contain her until we determine what force is speaking through her!" Iridessa's loyal priests, they form a protective circle around her as tensions rise. Outside, it seems as though storm clouds gather unnaturally fast, and there is a distant rumble of thunder that punctuates the growing confrontation within these sacred walls. And that is where we're going to go ahead and end tonight's session.
Woo! Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So things in Faithspire are super good when you get there. Everything's fine.
Yeah, there's
Money's not gonna help. There's zealots.
Hey, don't worry, guys. We don't have to give them the 6K after all.
Oh my god.
So what if a Lady Paramount
that's what
ends
you
up
got out of
dead
that.
and House Emberlyn ends up falling into civil war with itself? No big deal.
That's a them
And-
problem.
That's 6K saved. I don't know what I'm saying.
With 6K, we can buy a new Lord Paramount, right? How much do those run?
I don't know.
So
Hopefully
yeah.
less than a sentinel.
Oh my god.
That's funny. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you enjoyed. Be sure to tune in next week. Right? We play next week. Yeah, we do. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Be sure to tune in
We
next
better.
week for the Crimson Court, so we can see what the fuck is the thing in the the vault, and if they're gonna live. We'll see. And then finally, be sure to also tune back in so you can see what exactly is going on in Faithspire when eventually they get there. However, I don't think they're getting to Faithspire next session. They might have other things going on. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Hope you enjoyed. I know I did. We'll see you in the next one. Party Loot app for all your party tracking needs. Be sure to check it out. If you need it,
www.partyloot.com.
Party Loot app, go and check out rollwithadvantage.co for the official Roll With Advantage website. That is it. Thank you so much, and we will see you next time.